I mean, there's a lot of questions. Like, is his vest going to shoot lasers like it sometimes does?
I'm thinking of the more like
tiger eyes,
the lion or tiger face.
Oh yeah,
vest. That's what I know. Craven.
That's what shoots lasers sometimes.
That shoots lasers.
The eyes shoot lasers.
Why?
What? Because why not?
Whose eyes don't? You know.
Yeah, I want to say that might have been the animated series version of Craven. That. He might have had eye shooting laser action
in the 90s cartoon or the new one.
90s.
Like the Spider Blood intro one. That one.
Like the Fox one that was about the same time as the X-Men?
The one that was
with
like
Peter Parker wearing like
that's why I remember it. I remember it coming on alongside X-Men. Yeah, that's
X-Men that was always a repeat. Like, I've seen this one. I know Morph dies.
No! Not that one.
All right. It's the 16th, right? September 16th?
It is.
Yes.
September 16th. It's actually 9/16. This is GameEnthus Podcast episode 436. I'm one of the hosts here, Aaron. Tiny is also here.
I am here. We're talking about comic books.
As we are wont.
Be surprised.
Mike is on assignment. By an assignment, I mean, like he's at a wedding, right?
I mean, okay. I was just going to say life stuff, but yes.
Yes.
Find which wedding, though. You got a prize.
Yeah. So. If you can figure that out. But anyway. Brad is joining us once again.
Yes, how you doing?
Good. Glad to have you back on the show.
Good.
Get some new artwork on the wall there. That is new, right?
I actually had this for forever. Since I've been here. Yeah.
I'm very observant.
I guess the angle makes it look different. Yeah.
It does.
It's been here for a while. Yeah.
Okay. I won't try to point on anything different. That lamp, I recognize the lamp, but that
Okay, but the art, yeah. Okay.
And welcoming back a guest we have not had on in quite some time, Chris Becker, SuperNintendad. Welcome back, sir.
Hello, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been probably since Max and Irma's was still open. But they closed it down. Yeah.
That's been
the old sangria.
I think
it's been a while.
It's been a while, but I think you've been on after that, though. That's been like
probably
5 or 6
I just wanted to talk about Max and Irma's.
Yeah, I can understand.
No, it's a good restaurant. Like it's the only restaurant we've ever sat down in, and the first question out of their mouths were, "Would you like us to put on a fresh set of cookies for you?" And you're like, well, "I'm sorry, what?"
What a question! Of course. What do we look like? So since Max and Irma's unfortunately is out of business, what have you been up to for the last 5 or 6 years, Chris?
Just living life, partying, living, leveling a lot for my son when he's at his mother's and she takes his Switch away. He'll call me and say, I need you to level me up 10 more levels in Fortnite. Can you do me a favor? And I'll be like, what happened? I would do it at first, and then I realized he would only ask me when his mom took a Switch. And so I'd be like, well, what did you do? Well, I scratched someone at school. I'm like, no, then I'm not going to level you up, Eddie.
You'd accept anything. I pushed somebody on a flight of stairs.
I drew blood. I mean, what?
I'd be like, I'm not going to. Not only am I not going to help you level up, but go cut your nails. Yeah.
That too.
Recently, I watched Malignant, which is like very bizarre. So I don't even know what to call it.
I was gonna it's supposed to be like it's a horror movie. Where, like with a name like Malignant, it makes me feel like this person smoked 3 packs a day and like cancer is actually what kills them in 40 years or whatever.
I don't actually want to say anything about what it is because finding out is like the whole point of watching it. Well, the most exciting part for me to watch it. But it's really good. It's on HBO Max right now if you have it. It's in theaters too. You can watch that there. Or but yeah, I've been watching that. I just saw Candyman last weekend. That was good. And yeah, I've been just, surviving.
I've got a weird tangent for Candyman because I happened to be watching Star Trek The Next Generation today. And I saw the episode where Tony Todd plays a Klingon that they do like an exchange program, and he is the first officer on the Enterprise for this whole episode, and like everyone's real pissed. Like he's trying to run this like a drill ship, and like Wesley and Jordy are like, oh, he's being too mean, and everyone's really mad about it. And I'm like, all I ever seen he's in, I'm like, it's just Candyman. Like they just summoned Candyman to this and put him in Klingon. Candyman. Gave him the Klingon ridges, and that's it. But I was like, man, I totally forgot he had showed up on this, and just with the Candyman movie been out, I was like, that's a coincidence.
Yeah, and now he's gonna be Venom.
Yeah, in the Spider-Man.
Yeah, in the Spider-Man movie or game. So
yeah, and it's been, but it's completely different tangent, unrelated to anything we just said. Have you ever seen the movie Enemy Mine?
Yes, with Louis Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid is here. Yes, it was a very bizarre movie, where I think he ended up giving birth to an alien baby, not Dennis Quaid. And then I just remember liking the movie at the time when it came out, but I haven't gone back to watch it. I don't know how it holds up.
I don't know how it holds up either.
I mean, I can tell you from these pictures, this movie.
Yeah, okay. You look
like
hold up.
Like what?
Yeah.
It was all right.
I mean, you definitely could have seen this alien design as like a late Next Generation episode, where they're like, "Hey, how many things can we stick to your face?"
Just try to
Super
break
Glue is
that
amazing. So.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, it kind of looks almost like one of those like roly-poly bugs.
Yeah.
Kinda, or yes, I'm trying to.
Or at least how they look in a bug's life.
Yeah, I could see that. Like some of it, this is just special.
We also would have accepted ants, but
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a heated debate.
It is, but it has Woody Allen in it, so it's like, Bug's Life is fine.
The Armageddon Deep Impact discussion about kids animated movies.
Deep Impact was one where Morgan Freeman was the president, and the comet was coming to hit the Earth, and Armageddon is the Aerosmith song one, right?
That's it's the Bruce Willis one versus the Morgan Freeman one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely remember Armageddon.
Or like Volcano versus Dante's Peak.
Yeah. Wasn't there one that went along with Twister?
Was there another one? Twister definitely won out.
I think Twister kind of started the natural disaster trend, and it continued with Dante's Peak. And
yeah, I'm thinking of Sharknado.
That was realistic.
That's a good 20-year gap between those two.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's way ahead.
I tried to watch one of those, and it wasn't like live. You can't. I can't watch that without. If I'm not live tweeting it, I can't watch. Like if you're not joining in that nonsense, there's no point watching those movies.
Okay.
It's just like,
But Tara Reid has a robot arm, and she slices a shark, and I mean, it's like
we talked about this several times, where she was inside the shark, coming into orbit.
This is when she gives birth.
She gives birth from inside the shark, coming into the planet. I just, of all of the dumbest, like my disbelief, they took it out back and just shot it like in the face. Oh, that was ridiculous. Oh
yeah,
those were the days. That was the third one or fourth one, right? It was like
that was later.
Wow,
the Sharknator.
Yeah, they were like, it was like we're running out of ideas. We gotta, how can we amp it up?
Just so many cameos for no reason. No, not even lines. People just dying. Okay. Oh, it's dumb. So dumb. Sorry, Chris. What were we talking about?
I think that was about it. Yeah, I'm all called up now.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right.
Something Twister, something Sharknado.
Before we transition, are we going to see you at Too Many Games in
when is it?
Weeks?
August.
October 8th. Like October 8th to the 10th.
Maybe. Who all's going? Are you guys going?
I might go. I'm a maybe. They're going for sure.
Mike, me, and Ben are definitely. I'm running the Extra Life booth like usual. So.
Maybe. I'm a maybe too. Then if Aaron's a maybe, I'm a maybe.
No, I'm going. What do you say now?
I'm still a maybe. Still a maybe.
I was gonna say, like, okay, I got, like, I mean,
see how much integrity you had
when Aaron's there. So,
yeah. No, I remember one thing I remember from Too Many Games when we went or when I came there was I remember someone was selling a 64DD for like $800. It's probably like
that would have been a deal.
Now.
That would be a deal now. Yeah.
I always wanted one of those, man. Still do.
Someday.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of past.
I've never seen one in person. Yeah, but
I've seen it, but I'd never. Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was not functioning. But yeah, you can emulate all that stuff though, which is kind of nice.
I think Ring Fit Adventure is the only physical game I have right now in my possession.
Oh wow!
Just period. Okay, it's funny because I think the same is true for me outside of the retro stuff I have. Yeah.
Yeah, outside of that, like I don't. I think for the Switch, my kids had Skylanders, which came with a cartridge.
Okay.
But I believe they lost it. And I went to look it up to get them another one, and it's like, I don't know, like $150 for that launch title now.
Oh, yeah. Swap Force was like a low production run.
Was it Swap Force? It was like a launch game.
Okay. Yeah, whatever the one after Swap Force, but yeah.
What's the one that had the Donkey Kong and the Bowser vehicles?
That was the racing one or whatever?
Yeah. I don't know. The last one was like you could create your own hero. Like you could like put arms on different. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really stretched that out for as long as they could. And they did.
The one with Donkey Kong and Bowser, you could like spin the bottom and turn it between an amiibo and a Skylander.
Yeah, I have the Donkey Kong vehicle. Because they had it at Five Below, and I was like, well, it's $5. I mean, I'm losing money if I don't get it. So
yeah.
That's how that works.
Especially if you didn't get like 6 of them and sell them now for like $80.
Yeah, tell me to get more of them when I'm there in the past, and I would have done that. Yeah. Five Below. Okay.
But Brad, what have you been up to, sir?
Just getting used to my new job and getting back to things that I wanted to do but couldn't because I was busy before I started the new job. So I'm finally completely out of finance. I had enough of finance. It's a wrap on that. I just got too tired of being put into analysts and specialist roles and being told to be a problem solver and solving problems, or at least, stating problems that I'm seeing, and having teams not believe me, only for those issues to come up a month and a half or 2 months later, and then those same people, get kind of attitude with me because it's what I said was right. Yeah, I just had enough. So yeah, now I'm in design and branding for a big brand that people who follow sports should know. So it's been good. Yeah.
Oh, good
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, how was it just making that transition? Like.
Oh, it was interesting because I didn't expect it to be like such a shift. It felt like a switch, on and off switch, and a lot of the stuff I was doing freelance on the side, that really helped. That definitely helped me to get the job I have now. So yeah, it was all kind of a building process, and my attention to detail working in finance helps in this role too. So yeah, it's been good. I really enjoy it. Yeah, it's really I wouldn't say completely stress free, but it's just really I work with a lot of people that are just really laid back, and I didn't really have that when I was working in finance, so it's a good change. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah. I'm doing the same job for 20 years, but that's fine. Not happening.
Oh yeah, I mean I that's what I want. I want a job where I can just stay. Yeah, for years. I haven't had that. Like the most I've been in the job's probably been, I want to say like 2.5 years or so. Yeah, just been switching between jobs due to nonsense. But yeah, I definitely see this job being like a 5 year plus job. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's been good so far. Yeah.
You can start. No, I mean having the expectations, something like that, that's a good thing. Hopefully, it comes to fruition because switching it up.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, that's just a reality, like talking to my oldest. I mean, she's 21, and just
okay, yeah.
Even the job that she just got, people that like came in with her are like, I got something else. You just got there like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I think a lot of that is generational. Yeah, it's just like if people want things to be 100% what they expected, and if it's not, then they just jump up and leave.
Which can lead to some disappointment because
I can. Yeah, definitely.
Every job is going to have something you don't like.
Nothing's perfect. Yep.
Nope.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, definitely is generational. What happened? I logged into LinkedIn. What do you mean? Apply for something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what else has been up?
Yeah. So I've been doing that and catch up on games. And I again want to start, as I told you before, I want to start BPAD again. I've been meaning to do that, but just the job situation and just getting used to that has been a challenge. But I mean, now that my schedule is pretty much set, it's been good. So I've been doing stuff to build it up, and this fall is when I plan to fully bring it back with next gen games that came out during the launch of the PS5 and Xbox Series X up to now. So there's going to be a decent amount of episodes and reviews planned, not too much. I want to get myself into the groove, and then next year, that's when I plan to just blast it out, have multiple episodes a month once I get back to doing it, now that I have a good schedule. Yeah, that's been the biggest change too, now that I'm out of finances, having a good schedule where the work I do is set every day. I don't have to work major overtime like I did before, so it's been good. Yeah.
Good. I look forward to seeing the videos and the content. And you waited for a good time because there was nothing really.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, well,
that too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's been a lot of delays, so it's been easy to catch up on stuff. And I've just been loving. It's funny because you said there's not many games that have released specifically for the consoles, exclusively, but there's just a lot of content across all genres, and it's just been a really fun period, at least for me, in terms of playing the games. I know that the consoles don't really have anything that's really unique in terms of the games that they have in their libraries right now, but just being able to play the games at their best quality is enough for me, at least so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if somebody said, I'm starting a YouTube channel that's only going to focus on console exclusives of the next generation.
Well, there's only going to be like what?
Like four videos.
One or two games with neither of them being great games. And that's the thing, like that's and I know we talked about this too a few weeks back, just how the PS5, they really pushed next generation and exclusives. Well, not really exclusives, but just it being a new generation, only for them to pretty much make all of their AAA exclusives come out on PS4 too. So it's like, what's up with that? A lot of people said that, the Xbox Series X will be in major trouble because Halo is going to come out to the Xbox One too. But now it's looking like the Xbox Series X is going to have more console exclusives than the PS5 will in terms of their first party. It's funny how that worked out.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's funny how that worked out. Yeah.
But here we are. So.
Yep.
Very cool. I did see a tweet from you the other day that I thought was funny. I hadn't really thought about it, but you were talking about 16:9 versus 4x3 and how people will never see Venom White again.
Yeah, really big into TV production, and I've noticed the changes. It really started due to COVID and social distancing. A lot of TV shows had to change up their sets to make the crew separated or spaced out, as well as the host.
True.
And due to that, you started seeing more things out of the safe 4x3 space. And now with this new TV season that just started, now they're just like, screw it. Just put things outside of the 4x3 box. So Vanna White in the new season Wheel of Fortune, they really made the puzzle board really close to the screen. And so if you have a 4x3 TV, you're not going to be able to see Vanna when she's on the side of the puzzle board because she's out of the 4x3 space, which I think is funny because I know, retirement homes as well as, a lot of the people that watch Wheel of Fortune, they still have 4x3 TV, some of them. And I won't be surprised if they already sent out some complaints to local TV stations about them not being able to see the full puzzle board or them not being able to see Vanna White on the side. Yeah, but it's interesting. It's definitely a shift. It's definitely a shift in TV because ever since HD started, which was like 05, 06, content was still focused on keeping things within that 4x3 box. And now COVID pretty much just blew everything up. They're like, we need to do this. Yeah.
Now you're
So
100%
they have
right.
metrics to back it up. Like, there's a ratio of people who are still watching 4x3 content.
Yeah, too. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they can. Yeah, they have details on that. Yeah.
They can justify.
I mean, HDTVs are really cheap now. I remember when getting a 40-inch HDTV was $2,000 minimum, and now you can get one for only like $300. It won't be top of the line, but it'll be a pretty decent or solid TV. Yeah.
Things change.
Yep.
But I think they still broadcast at 1080 max though, so
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
still a thing,
nothing on. Yeah,
you can't do over the air 4K though, can you?
They just changed. They have a new frequent what's it, ATSC 3.0, which can do 4K, but it's like no one's putting the money into it because people are moving away from TV and going to streaming. So it's like, yeah, it's funny because I do have YouTube TV. I have the 4K plan. I just wanted to test it out. I haven't paid for it yet. I'm on the trial still, but I mean, I can tell a difference. Yeah, I can tell a difference. It's pretty good, but it's just that there's not much content. So it's like, is it worth it? I probably will drop it once I get close to ending the trial period.
Yeah, the issue that I've seen, because Sony killed the View, right? PS View, whatever that's.
Yes, they did. Yeah. That was almost. I want to say it was almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah, because the problem with all these streaming packages is once the content holders they want to charge real money, so that $50-$60 you're paying, that price goes up, but you get less channels. It's like, what am I doing this for? So
they have to kind of offset the money being lost by people dropping cable. So they have to do something. And it's gonna be interesting. This decade is gonna be interesting for TV. I really think that we're gonna see major shifts as this Generation Z gets into their 30s, and pretty much that's gonna be a wrap for broadcast TV in terms of people running to the TV to watch something at a specific time. Because kids now they don't do that. It's like I feel like I was the last generation that had to really do that. Can't miss Hey Arnold comes on at 8:00. Run to the TV as soon as it comes on. Yeah. Now it's
kids have no concept of a TV schedule.
Whatever. Yeah, we just watch, search it on YouTube, type in the show's name, and there you go.
They don't even watch commercials because we have YouTube
Premium.
Too. Exactly. So they're like, there's an ad. What is this?
Yep. Yeah. It's real funny. So once that generation becomes in their 20s and 30s and becomes the target demographic for advertising, it's like everything's gonna change around it. I remember reading something about I forgot what sports commentator said it. It's either a sports commentator or a sports reporter saying that the Super Bowl by 2030 will probably be really, really different. They'll probably be like just tiers for the Super Bowl because people won't be watching traditional broadcast TV, so they'll probably just have to be a Super Bowl stream that people pay money to see, and they just watch it from there. It's going to be interesting to see how things change.
All right, James in the chat said that he cut the cord 15 years ago. I'm trying to think.
15, wow.
Maybe like
what was
10, 12 for me. It's been a while because when DVR was like the hotness, it was like the best thing ever. Like we could record all our shows, and then fast forward some years later, I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, for me, it's been 10. It's been 10 years. Yeah, I did it in college, right when I was about to graduate. Yeah, because I was just like, what I can do. Because at the time, Verizon Fios gave you ESPN3, and at that time, ESPN3 had all the ESPN NBA games, which is funny to think back on. But I was good with that, and I was good with Hulu at the time, and and an antenna, and I was pretty much satisfied. It was what I was getting between all that. Yeah,
it's a different time.
Yeah, different time. Yeah, back then streaming had like some things were better, but some things were also worse. You know, you didn't have much variety, but there was like more. How to say it? They were more open into giving content away because they knew a lot of people back then couldn't rely on streaming because internet connections weren't as good as they are now. So it's like, yeah, we'll let people watch these NBA games, you know, whatever. You know, it's not that many people going to watch them. And that was the main. That was how I watched most NBA games was ESPN3. Yeah, so
Tiny put in the
yeah,
chat.
now it's covered.
Actively paying cable bill at the moment. Like, get with the times, man. Get with the times.
I keep saying I'm going to cancel it.
Oh, okay.
I keep saying I'm going to cancel cable, and then I'm like,
aren't they charging you a lot of money for what you're probably not watching?
Well, so,
yeah, that's the huge issue.
That's the incentive right there. I'm not looking at this.
You know,
but yeah, the thing is, like, is it actually that huge? Because like
you don't watch sports either. So what do you
eat cable bill is the big part of my cable bill is the internet. And like,
yeah,
and like, cool. I have this. If someone comes over and wants to see something or what, like, it's there to turn it on. Also, it pays for my HBO subscription. So like, if I cancel this, then I'm gonna go pay for HBO Go or whatever.
Okay.
So it's
I
like
see what you,
I could get to a point where it's like, cool. I pay less than $30 for the non-components of that. And it's like,
okay. That's not bad. I'm thinking,
like I understand like
cable
in terms
cheaper
of like
now
the argument, like kind of like, you know, when you look at the value of cable TV based on channels, you know, you're definitely, you know, cable TV is still better in terms of the number of channels you get.
All the channels until you're like, I don't care
but then,
about
the
country
and that's the
music
thing.
channel
like, I don't, exactly.
or
that's the thing with me, like I
hunting
only care.
and fishing.
yeah, exactly. Like
Bassmasters.
The cable package, like if it has like 200 channels, I only care about at most probably 15 to 20.
And that's the thing that probably bugs me the most about cable. You know, I don't know. This is a Jerry Seinfeld stand-up. I think like on Verizon, you have to be at a certain level to get BBC America. And I'm like, but I want to watch Doctor Who.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you have to be at this level. I'm like, I don't care about the knitting channel.
Yeah, have to get that tier. So get that one channel that you're interested in, but that tier also includes 20 other channels to increase the price. Channels that you don't care about. Yeah, that's how they do it. And that's what I got tired of. So,
and I make this excuse, and I really should just cancel it. But yeah, I mean, I mean, here's the real thing. In the next 10, 15 years, what if there was some way we could bundle together the content from different services and present that as a single solution, some kind of cable?
That's genius.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's
Hulu,
that would be great, but that's not going to happen because I mean, because even the networks, the TV networks, know that their days are numbered, so that's why they're moving their stuff to streaming. I mean, CBS has Paramount, NBC, Peacock, ABC, Disney Plus. That's and it's funny because they're testing out some new shows on streaming first, and then they're going to bring those to network TV if they do well.
That's when
it's like,
they brought Star Trek that way. They brought
Discovery. Yep, so, it's spun now. Yeah, so it's the seeds are definitely being planted. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember where I was listening, and this might have been the Nextlander. Yeah, the Giant Bomb guys. They're former Giant Bomb guys, talking about that they 2018 there was a repeal in movie law that studios couldn't own theaters up until 2018. So, like, you couldn't have MGM own a chain of theaters and then make their movies exclusive. But that law was repealed in 2018 or changed to allow that. So, like, now the question is going to be, if theaters do come back, are there going to be, like, you have to go across town to see the Universal, because this is the Universal theater chain or whatever we partnered with.
I'm good.
Or when Disney goes and buys AMC, because why not? And this is the only place you can see Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So
that sounds terrible, but also
inevitable.
Yeah, inevitable.
I mean, yeah.
But anyway,
I'm excited for
I kind of. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna say I'm excited for the Disney PlayStation. I wonder if
No.
it's gonna have
Marvel
Thinking
games, yeah.
instead of the PlayStation logo on the new PS5, it's just gonna have Mickey's ears.
But it's still going to be in the Spider-Man font.
Well,
So
it's funny because like it's funny you mentioned that, because now that I'm thinking about it, like what was it kind of foreshadowing that the PS3 back in 2006 and 2007 they had that Spider-Man font for the logo.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny looking back at that now.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, there are so many Marvel games in development at this moment. Between like, Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine both coming from Naughty Dog.
And that's the thing. It's like I love the PS5, but they're really like digging into just what works, and I understand it because making games now is really expensive, but I really miss just the variety that we saw with PS1 and PS2 and even PS3. Just they had a lot of stuff outside of just the heavy hitting AAA games, and now it seems that pretty much everything that's being pushed is heavy hitting AAA for PS5, and I kind of missed the variety that we saw during the late 90s and 2000s. When it came to that brand, the PlayStation brand.
Well, they're not was willing to take risks. I mean, especially if it's as expensive as it is. It's like
exactly. Yeah, and I understand. I completely understand.
$100 million
games are so expensive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They have to be heavy hitters now. Yeah, you can't.
I want to
make stuff for specific audiences.
It'll catch up though. Like the big thing about PlayStation is once you get to like the 5-year mark, their dev kits are cheaper, and like
I was gonna say they have to build up the user base.
Yeah, you get system. Your bib rhythms and like all this stuff. Like there's definitely
there's
gonna be a time where it gets better. Yeah, it's just gonna take years. Yeah.
So yeah,
I was just gonna say in comparison, the previous, or I should say the early PlayStation consoles, they had that variety from the get go. Yeah. So that's what kind of makes it different too. But yeah, definitely like once more people have.
And I like
the
that's
PS5
what we're getting into the PS4 part of that. Like PS4 is gonna start getting the real weird stuff, because it's like, oh yeah, we let students just develop for this now. So as well as it'll be a deluge of like, hey, here's content from the Unity store we just slap together and put on the PlayStation Network. So
does it work? Who knows?
We'll see. Where do we steal this?
Goes. I mean, again, I'm pumped for those Marvel games, but yeah.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it.
It's definitely like a unique generation for PlayStation, because it feels, more, as we said before, more blockbuster heavy hitters instead of those like really like kind of niche, indie titles and Japanese titles that were quirky. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a Puppeteer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good example.
That was a good game.
Yep.
Journey and Flower and all that, kind of stuff.
At this rate, I'd even just remaster or bring over Puppeteer.
Why haven't they done that yet?
What was the one with all the dogs? How about we bring
a lot of
PlayStation
street? 3 Tokyo Jungle?
Tokyo Jungle, thank you.
There are so many games stuck on the PS3 that you can only play on the PS3.
That's true.
Like even Metal Gear Solid 4. You have no other way to play a game that is like a key.
That's probably the biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah, like a key franchise, and the only way to do it is go get a hold of a PS4 or a PS3, or maybe on the cloud on their PS Now. But I'd have to even go check if it's there, because
I'm pretty sure it's not there. Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be because of the multi-disc install. Watch Solid Snake make an egg for 5 minutes while it's installing the data. So
I thought he was just smoking a cigarette.
Well, that was between chapters, but remember the initial install? There was like a TV channel that there were like 6 different, like one, they're interviewing the actor that is David Hayter, and another one's like, this is a cooking show. And anyway, I started replaying Metal Gear Solid 4.
I never beat MGS4. I think I got up to the last act, and I forgot I got distracted or something and never quite finished it.
Finished that game at 1 o'clock in the morning. It ended at about 3 in the morning. Because that last cutscene is like 2 hours long.
Yep,
that's ridiculous.
So,
but
but Aaron, what have you been up to? Because we're just kind of now.
What have I been up to? Not much. I I was into Kevin on Stage podcast. Here's the thing when he does with that chick Angel, and they were talking about. I had seen some tweets about it. Apparently, I guess Comedy Central was doing an Office marathon, and I guess to get around controversy, they were not going to air the Diversity Day episode from season one.
Okay, I see.
Which is like one of the best Office episodes.
Yeah, that's a classic.
But
yeah,
out of
it's one of the most popular episodes.
Out of context, which I feel like it gives you plenty of context for the episode. That show came out in 2005, and sensibilities are different in 2021. But I do kind of feel like the whole point of the episode was to make fun of like ignorant people and corporate responses to corporate and HR responses to things that require a lot more work, a lot more sensitivity.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it was back then. Because even back then, people knew that what they're doing wasn't right, and was against, HR guidelines. Yeah. So it's like now, if you aired it now, like I think people would still get that, but.
I would think so too, and I feel like as popular as The Office is, Office is more popular now than it was back then. So,
and it's funny because that's true with a lot of shows. A lot of shows are more accessible now due to internet. So, stuff that was canceled before broadband became accessible is probably no more popular now. Like, funny. Well, Office, King of the Hill. I was talking to a friend about King of the Hill. I was like, King of the Hill, it's probably. I would say King of the Hill is far more popular now than it was when it actually aired on Fox. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, stuff airing on Fox.
So many memes. Yeah,
is a challenge in itself. Like, I mean, Firefly is the perfect example for that kind of.
Okay, yeah.
Like, the original airing for Firefly, they aired the episodes out of order. They started with episode 3.
Some spec on their name,
and I mean, now it's definitely a more popular show now than it was when it was on TV. But Aaron, you were about to say something.
I was going to say, has everybody seen the Diversity Day episode of The Office?
Yeah, I have. Yep,
I have not.
Wow,
is that the one where they have the paper? They put it on their forehead.
Yes, it is.
And okay.
I was going to ask for some kind of don't. That doesn't again. And I know you think I only don't want The Office just to, I don't know, annoy you. And that's part of it now.
You like being able to say, I don't watch The Office.
I wasn't going to say a word about The Office if you brought this up.
I think for myself, I don't like The Office.
I enjoy very popular things. I happen to also host a video game podcast about popular video games. But anyway, no, like it's just...
Don't worry about it. It's okay because it gives me a chance to at least set up what the episode is about.
Okay.
No, it's basically, the Chris Rock thing about people wanting credit for things they're supposed to do.
Yes.
So basically, Michael did that routine in front of The Office, and people complained to corporate. So they sent Larry Wilmore, who was a consulting producer on the show in real life, but they sent him to like do some some sensitivity training and some diversity training. And really, he was there just to get Michael to sign a pledge that he would like do better, but he guised it as like it was for the whole office, but it really wasn't. So it's a very you should watch. It's a very funny episode, and
I feel like part of this whole discussion is you realizing explaining jokes just as funny as watching them.
They really are.
So,
they truly are. Yeah, but you should watch it. Yeah, you're right. You should watch it. So
I will. At some point, watch The Office, probably.
We have a couple of questions in the chat. Has anybody read Stray Dogs comics? I don't even know what that is. Also from James. I'm not sure what that is.
I've never heard that. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No,
if Tiny says no, then I guess it's not a real comic booker. Because I feel like Tiny's read every comic book that's ever existed. So.
Well,
okay.
when you can see Tiny over there Googling it, he has
it's an image. It's also only came out in February. So, like...
You have plenty of months to read it. There's no excuses.
So, I have not... I'm looking at it right now. Like... Let's be honest. I read a lot of comics. I read a lot of superhero comics. Like, that's definitely more than Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lambs. It's a scary being a new dog. Sophie can't remember what happened. She doesn't know how she ended up in this house. Okay, so
that sounds nuts.
I'm good.
Rub the lotion.
And then they have the spin-off coming out on PS5, Stray, which is just about a cat.
Oh yeah, they did show that game off.
Cat game. Yeah.
Again, let's just bring back Tokyo Jungle, where Chihuahuas have to eat something and you get upgraded to like a puma or something after that. That game was so weird.
Indeed.
I'd play it again though.
So I'd play Africa again, like a much more realistic Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, because that was not published by Sony over here, and it got a different name, right?
I don't know if it got a different name. I know it wasn't published. They didn't bring it here, but I thought it was still Africa. It might have had a subtitle though.
I mean, I definitely remember the game. I never played it, but yeah, I remember seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Natsume published it. That's who. Like
that
it's
sounds
like
a Natsume game.
Because it's a lot like what's the farming simulators? I can't. This joke is failing.
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon. Thank you.
Oh.
I was like Natsume. That's all I know Natsume from.
Okay. Yeah. My brother loved Harvest Moon games when he was younger. He used to play those a whole lot. I never get into them.
What's the one that people like? No, it's not Harvest Moon, but it was influenced by it. Why can't I think of the name of it?
What?
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley. Does your brother play Stardew Valley now?
Okay.
Is he into that? Not really?
No, he hasn't really played it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Another question from chat. James asked, is anybody excited about games coming out of Gen Con? James, the one that comes to mind is the 4th AZUL. I think it's called AZUL Queen's Garden. I love AZUL. I've never played the 2nd AZUL, but the 1st and 3rd one are fantastic games. So I'm looking forward to the 4th. It just looks, they always look pretty with the nice tiles. So AZUL Queen's Garden is what I'm definitely looking forward. There's a lot of them, but that one is the one that just comes to mind right off the top of my head.
I will defer to Aaron.
So. You don't want to discuss board games, Tiny? Is that what I was wondering?
I mean, we can discuss them. I'm just gonna sit here quietly nod.
You're gonna defer to me. Okay.
Does this looks like active engagement? I'm looking straight into the camera like that.
Yeah.
Dice, cardboard.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
I love board games. I used to make my own board games.
Oh, that's very cool.
When I was younger. Yeah. I used to do that a lot. Yeah. I want to say probably like 5 or 6 of them was cardboard when I was. Yeah, like about 7 to 11, or so. I used to make them. Yeah, and one of them was like a bank robber game, and had to steal money without the cops finding you, or else you go to jail in the middle of the board, and people got to catch up to you while you're in jail. Yeah, I used to make some clever stuff. Yeah, I wish I still had some of them.
Yeah, you never know.
Because they'll give me some more ideas now. Yeah.
I have a game somewhere in here called How to Rob a Bank. It's like a programming game. Like you make decisions and then you enact, and then they execute.
It runs through the.
Yeah, you see if it actually works out. It's interesting.
Okay.
We played it once and went, this is interesting. We didn't play it again.
Yeah, I haven't, but yeah, with this pandemic, I haven't really played a really good board game, and it's been years. Yeah, it's literally been years because that's how long we've been in this. Yeah. So.
Oh, James said in the chat, sounds like Burgle Bros. I have Burgle Bros 2. I don't have the first one. I haven't played it either, so I will at some point.
You will make your family play it, you mean?
Yes, I will.
I have an idea for a board game. What if you have to go around the board, and around the board are different McDonald's, and you work for the government and need to check and see why so many of their milkshake machines are breaking down.
Did you watch that YouTube video?
The milkshake.
Did you watch that? Like the whole conspiracy? Like,
I saw the thing going around, and the FDA is supposed to be investigating.
Like supposedly,
I saw the article on that.
Owns the company or has like a huge stake in the company that repairs them. So they're making
really?
They're making like a bunch of money on the franchisees whenever they break. And apparently the error codes that come up are so like they make no sense at all. So you have to call to get somebody to come because somebody made an app that could apparently you could enter the code and it would tell you what it actually was.
Yeah, I remember.
And they got sued into oblivion because McDonald's wants you to go through the company they have a stake in to charge the franchisees more money than they should to repair the milkshake machines. It's like, what?
I'm telling you, McDonald's is they're really
they're a real estate company. That's what they really are. They're a real estate company who happen to sell burgers and fries.
You ever see that movie, The Founder?
I saw half of it.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
I mean, the way he like stole the company from the McDonald's brothers.
Yep. Okay, I see. Mm-hmm. I remember reading something about that too. Yeah, I didn't see the movie though, but yeah. I mean, yeah, you got that. Had the Monopoly game. That was
how people manipulated
so many
organized crime
loopholes in that.
It.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so good.
There's a lot of stuff going on behind that Happy Meal, kids.
Those arches.
Yep.
Got to keep them golden.
The thing I was talking about Africa having a different name in America. Apparently, when it first came out, it was called Hakuna Matata in Japan, and they had to change the name to Africa because Disney was not happy with that.
Yeah,
name.
I was gonna say yeah. Not a Lion King game, guys. Okay. Yeah.
It sounds like Disney. All right, that's it for me. Tony, what's going on with you, man?
I mean, honestly, it's been relatively quiet. Like, it's just work and playing some games occasionally and whatnot. So nothing too exciting. I was trying to look. What did I tweet about? And I don't really think anything that exciting. So, I mean, I guess a couple things to talk about real quick, and I'm going to just steal from the news. The Hawkeye trailer dropped. For the Hawkeye TV series that comes out in November. So shocking, Hawkeye is fighting a bunch of like Russian thugs because that's about who Hawkeye should be taking on.
I mean, if it's not Mephisto, why are we here? I mean, Hawkeye
that's the real question. Who is the internet going to think is Mephisto in this? And it's probably his dog.
You could see him walk by in the end in the one shot. Yeah,
that's true. Background. So we know we're getting Mephisto.
So yeah, I mean, it's based off the parts of it off the Hawkeye comic book, which is more like a day in his life kind of thing than what you would consider a normal superhero, like I don't know, fighting random people. So we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, the other thing, Extra Life has added Tiltify as another donation platform. So I'm hoping this will also mean that we will avoid the DDoS attacks that happen pretty much every game day. And at least it'll have multiple platforms now that people can fundraise on. So that's an interesting one. It does start a new fundraising page for you though. So like, it's not like if you have been fundraising, your progress does not carry over. So, but yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Donor Drive and Tiltify, but they're separate companies. Like, anyway. So that's what's going on. I guess the last thing I heard, Why the Last Man started up, which is another comic book based TV show, and I haven't watched it yet.
First 3 episodes are out.
I heard it's more serious than the comic, just to give people who have not read Why the Last Man or seen the trailer.
That's me.
Every dude on Earth dies simultaneously.
Okay.
Like suddenly there's some kind of plague or something happens. They all drop dead except for this one guy, Yorick. That's why it's Why the Last Man. And like they're trying to figure out what's going on, but also society is trying to like rebuild itself and in an all-female society. And there's some interesting stuff, but like it was more at least somewhat lighthearted at points. And from what I can hear is the TV show is a lot like, we're just going to go with the dark parts. So I'm looking forward to it.
He does have a pet monkey.
He does. Yeah, that was the other like.
That's new for the TV show?
No, he had it in
No,
the
no.
comic, and that was like some people thought maybe the reason that he had it, he had been bitten by the monkey, and that's why he was immune because the monkey had mutated, and like that's what saved his life. Because like there's some really weird. I doubt they'll get to this in the TV show, but for example, you find out in like I don't know episode or issue 50, there are still 3 people up on the space station, and 2 of them are male, and like they need to come down. Like they are going to die up there if they don't come down. But if they come down, there's a good chance they'll die down here. Maybe one of them is, and like so there's a whole thing about what's going on there and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I want to check it out. I just have not had the chance to yet. So
And you don't have to tell me how, but in the comic, do they say why he is alive?
they might have by the end. I would have to go back and check. It has been a minute since I read that comic series. So I anyway, like there was a whole, because there's like parts of it are kind of like, I don't know if anyone watched what is the 13th Man, the one where like Congress and President and everything gets designated survivor. That's what it was called. Like where everyone dies and Keith
like
Sutherland,
Secretary of the Interior or whatever was the last person
right,
alive.
because they're the 13th person on the rights of oh god, transferring powers. We'll go with that. I can't remember what that thing is, and it's never really been tested. But like, but then there's a senator that wasn't there and comes back and says, "Well, technically, I was an elected official and have priority over you," and like that stuff kind of happens. It's an interesting comic book, at least. Like, hey, you should probably check that out. So yeah, but otherwise, no, it's been relatively quiet. So I think we can move on to games we've been playing real quick.
Brad, what games have you been enjoying?
I've been playing WarioWare, the new one. Get it together. It's really I enjoyed the WarioWare games, especially on the Game Boy Advance when the series was new. Those games were more unique back then. This game, I like it. I do. It still has that quirkiness of the older WarioWare games, but it does make things a little bit kind of like cleaner and streamlined. I don't know if anyone else played the new one, but
I played the demo.
That's
all I
you have okay. Yeah, it doesn't have that same I guess like uniqueness that I enjoyed in the previous WarioWare games, but it's still a good game. I haven't really played too much, well, I should say that much of it so far, but it's so far I've liked the mini games I've been playing so far on that, and played NBA 2K22. I haven't really done anything with the story mode or anything. Just been playing through a season. The gameplay is really good. Like it far more control. Previous years were very animation based to make the game look realistic, but it felt like you were constantly stuck in between animations, and now it's like everything is really smooth and it makes defense really fun. Like I've been getting far more blocks in games than I've ever had before in any other recent 2K game. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed that. Recently beat Ratchet and Clank on the PS5. Great game. Definitely one of my top 3 for this year. And it'll probably stay there. I still have a lot of other stuff to play, and there's still stuff coming out soon. But yeah, it's definitely great game. Graphics were amazing. Just a whole lot of polish. But on the flip side, due to that polish, like when you see certain bugs or glitches in the game, it like really, really sticks out, because it's just like, okay, it's like, you get used to that high level of polish, and then you see something that's off, and it's like, oh, now this is ruined right now. Yeah, the whole thing kind of ruins it. It kind of, makes the game be ruined.
Noticed that a little bit. Like there'll be times
you did okay.
I haven't finished it, but like weird collision issues and getting stuck between objects, and I'm like, but it's so pretty.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not a buggy game.
No, not at all.
There are more bugs than I would have expected. At least, based on what I've seen when I went through the game. And and it really broke my immersion because everything else is so polished that, you know, once you get a bug that's reminiscent of like PS3 or PS2, it's like, okay, now it's kind of, you know, now I'm reminded that this is a Ratchet and Clank game, you know. So, but I mean, outside of that, it's still a great game. Like I definitely recommend anyone with a PS5 to try it out, especially since it's pretty much the best looking game on the system, at least in my opinion. Been playing that. Rocket League, as always, you know, games frustrating me so far because a lot of people don't know how to play defense in Rocket League these days. Kind of took a bit of a break, but I've been back into that. Another thing I wanted to try to do was go through all the Halo campaigns and Master Chief Collection before the big Halo Infinite comes out, but I don't think I'll be able to do that since there's just too much stuff coming out soon. So yeah, I might have to just set that aside and,
so
you know,
which Halo games have you not finished?
Oh, I want to go through all of them again before Infinite.
So I guess the question is, are you doing this in release order or in like chronological?
That's it's funny because I haven't even, you know, started to do it, and that's something that I had in the back of my mind is, would I rather do this based on how I played them, which is, you know, release wise, or, you know, based on the story. So I still don't know. Like I guess in the nostalgic kind of media geek in me wants to just go through them all based on release instead of just going through it, based on, you know, just how this set up, you know, start with Reach and then the others. We'll see how that goes. Like I might not even do it based on just so much stuff coming out soon and me not having the time to properly go through them. But that's something I wanted to do before Infinite, but yeah, just a lot of changes this year. And what else? Have been playing anything else? Yeah, nothing else I can think of, really. I can't think of anything else I've been playing outside of those games that I mentioned.
The WarioWare, I've been playing it too, and I just wanted to say, I think I like the old WarioWares better.
Okay.
Something about this one makes it seem like you might be stuck with a character that's not good for a certain number of mini games. And it's like, it seems like they were almost like they were held back because they needed to make it work with the Switch, and they had to keep the Switch Lite in mind, so they couldn't use the Joy-Con or the, like, for motion control, because like WarioWare Twisted was really good, and then they had WarioWare Touched, and then like those games had like the microphone, the touch screen, all that stuff, and then they bring it here, and it's just like you just have the D-pad. It's like
tap A.
Yeah, it somewhat feels more basic than even the Game Boy Advance ones in some ways. At least to me, because that quirkiness is gone, that uniqueness is gone. It feels more, as I said, streamlined and easier to play for people that never played the previous WarioWare games. Yeah.
So is this another game that kind of is worse on the Switch? I'm thinking of Mario Maker 2. That just
I agree with that.
Good.
Yeah.
At least the creation stuff wasn't as good, just because, you know, you didn't have two screens, and, you know, it just this is different. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. I enjoyed it, but it definitely wasn't. As good as the first one, or at least in terms of the time it released. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tried to play multiplayer with my girlfriend, and she doesn't usually play very many video games, and she was just didn't seem, it's so chaotic because they're like just micro game after micro game just thrown at you, and she didn't know what to do with the buttons. And she was thrown with a new character. She didn't know how they controlled and do all this. She's like, I'm done. I don't want to play this game.
I understand. Yeah.
And you said, well, I do want to play it. So now we're in an impasse.
So I've just played it by myself. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. It's the logical choice.
Yeah. Or I could just play like Sakurai and just play one character with each hand, you know.
Oh.
I'm not that good, but Sakurai does not sleep, so I mean he can.
Possible, controls are simple.
Yeah, that's true.
The demo was cool, but I could, even in the demo, I could tell like this character seems pretty neat. This character seems like they wanted you to have another character.
Okay, yeah, pad the list a bit. Yeah.
They just wanted every character to be playable, so they could say, "Oh, everyone from WarioWare is playable."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they waited this long to do that.
To do what? WarioWare on the Switch, you mean?
No, I mean the fact that have that many instead of having the unique
characters
levels
controlling them.
for the I'm honestly surprised it took them this long. Games have been out for a long time.
Right, but they had the touch screen, so you could use that. And then with the other systems, they went all out with the gimmick of the system with the motion controls for the Wii, and then the gamepad for the Wii U.
Although, I have to say, like, when you mentioned Twisted was like Twisted and Touch were fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
WarioWare on the Wii, was it Smooth Move? Was there something like it also felt like a downgrade because
there was a launch title in Japan. It came out like in January in America.
It was okay, but it was not as good as Touched or Twisted. But
yeah, And plus, I've been playing. I busted out my 3DS and was playing WarioWare Gold leading up to the release.
See, that's one WarioWare I haven't played because I sold my 3DS about a year before it came out. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was messed up because it's like 3DS didn't have much going for it, at least for me. During that time that I sold it, and then WarioWare came out. I'm like, man, I really want to play this, and I didn't have a 3DS at the time. Yeah.
You don't play Rhythm Heaven with no 3DS. Did you think about that, Brad? Come on.
I'm sorry. Like I said, it was just sitting there. I was like, hey.
One thing I'll mention since we're talking about Wario. Game & Wario for the Wii U, strangely expensive.
Really?
Like, over $100 just for a loose copy. So, and it was one of the games they gave away, so I'm wondering if that influenced how many people actually bought physical copies. But, yeah, Wario. Wario has an interesting history. Like, the Virtual Boy game, Wario Land, is a great game that you'll have to wear glasses for. But, suffer for the art.
Yeah.
Wario, the first Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, that's one of my favorite Game Boy games. I used to play that a whole lot on my Game Boy Pocket as a kid. I love that game.
Those were all great. Like, I
never got
Wario
into the
World made by
games.
Treasure.
I have Wario World.
Made
I
by
didn't.
Treasure.
I played
Wario.
That was
Shake It. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say that was I mean that was a major part of the series as a whole was just him being greedy. So yeah.
Anybody ever played Mario and Wario for the Super Famicom? They used the Super Famicom mouse.
I was gonna say it's a lot like the Donkey Kong Versus series, isn't it? Like it's another like or Pac-Man 2 or
the New Adventures.
Yeah. Where you're kind of just like influencing.
Yeah, I didn't like that game at all. I had that and I didn't like it. I thought it would be something different. I thought it would be more platforming. I didn't think it would be a point and click.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
When Wario drops a bucket on Mario's head. I mean Luigi too. And you're some fairy. You have to click on different things so they don't like fall. The mouse seems pretty neat. I mean, I it's over there on the show. It's pretty fun. I got it when it was cheap. Well, it's still kind of cheap. It's like you can still get it pretty cheap. So
I saw it. I almost got it just because I figured this will be fun to have, but ended up not getting it. Although I think I am gonna order the Japanese Famicom ice hockey game just because I like the cover art.
But it's the same game, right?
Man, Famicom cover art is amazing. I get jealous every now and then when I look at covers. Yeah, just the random games. I'm like, man, it's it's definitely like marketing. Like here in the U.S., we're so focused on logos, and I can say this even more now that I work in branding and looking at logo designs. Like here, everything has to be like specific to the branding or the logo. As we see with the game boxes we had, the Super Nintendo boxes, they had to have a Super Nintendo logo right at the bottom center for each game, whereas the Famicom, Super Famicom, they just blew it out. Like the logo will be like in like a small part of the corner of the box, while the whole box was covered in art and different colors. Yeah, it's really unique. A lot of those covers.
I wonder if that some of that has to do with like the deals they made with the Japanese artists, because what is it something about Dragon Quest can't have like the orchestra music in the first run of the game or something?
I don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't even know. Yeah,
just
I
because
wouldn't be surprised because
some deal they have with the composer or something.
Okay, yeah, because those deals can get really messy, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's cases of that in a lot of games. Yeah, in the past.
In the chat, I'm not sure I pronounce it. It's Sucky Traccoon. I don't know. Says I've never played a WarioWare game, so I'd say if you have a DS system, WarioWare Touched is a good place to start, or even the GBA. It's the first one.
They're all fun games. It's just that some of them are more fun than others, but they're all fun games if you've never played any of them.
All the handheld ones are pretty good. So
you
can't lose between the first WarioWare Twisted, and the first DS one.
Yeah.
Or if you sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if you want to cheat, you can have your first WarioWare be Tetris 99 this weekend, when they have the WarioWare skin is available all weekend. You got to get 100 points from. You got to get 100 points and play Tetris 99. It's been a while since I played Tetris 99, especially with
same here. Yeah,
Pac-Man 99 being out. I think Pac-Man 99 I only played the first week, but Tetris 99 for a while I would jump back in when the new skins came out, but I haven't been on it in a while. But I'm thinking about jumping back in this weekend, get 100 points, get that WarioWare skin.
When you said that, I've thought about. I thought, is that still going? But then that was Mario 35.
35.
Okay.
Why they killed it, I don't know.
That was great.
And at the same time as when you couldn't get the Mario collection on Switch. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. They really did stop selling that, didn't they?
I don't know. I feel like you can get it on GameFly or Best Buy still.
I
don't think they're making new copies.
I bought it when it came out. So
I love that because it reminded me of the multiplayer mode in the Game Boy Color Super Mario DX.
Okay.
Yeah. It was and a lot of people never played that mode. It was really fun. I remember I used to play it with a friend with Link cable. Yeah, it was a fun mode, and it brought me back right to that. I wish they would make a game with a mode that was similar to that. And even to this day, I would say that Super Mario Brothers Deluxe on the Game Boy Color is the best version of the first Super Mario Brothers.
It's just so zoomed in. That's the only thing.
That too, that is a good point. Yeah, true. They had to do it though for the Game Boy Color screen. The Game Boy Color screen was smaller than the Game Boy Pocket screen. Yeah, even though it was in color.
It was. Wow.
Yeah, it was smaller. It was a little bit smaller.
Oh, you said pocket. And my brain thought micro.
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay, no.
Like, wait a minute.
Not smaller than
micro. You can't even. I couldn't even play on micro. Yeah, it was too small.
I still got it though.
Yeah, I got one too.
You do? Okay.
I don't have that Famicom.
It's a cool device. Like I definitely get the appeal, but actually playing on it is different story.
But you can't play regular Game Boy games on it though. That's one thing I don't like.
Correct.
No, just Game Boy Advance.
Well, because remember, this is a dumb fun story. So how Game Boy and Game Boy Color games work in the GBA is all mechanical. So when you slide it in, it hits a switch because of the size of the cartridge that just enables the hardware for, like, it's not emulation. It's not booting into an OS. It's just essentially engaging a different set of circuits to run the old Game Boy hardware inside of a Game Boy Advance. So when they shrunk it, they could not keep that.
They really shrunk it.
Fit that,
because that's also why, like, the DS Lite has a problem.
Oh yeah, that is right. Yeah,
right. Like it also lost the backwards compatibility with older Game Boy.
You used to be able to play Game Boy games on on DS, and they cut that out. Yeah,
I forgot about that because the original could play All of it.
You could have original Game Boy cartridge sticking out the bottom, but yeah, in the DS Lite, they took out that functionality.
They still kept the Rumble Pack. Still got to use the old Rumble Pack.
I mean, the Rumble Pack, you could plug in the DS browser.
I bought that like
the extra memory.
I don't know why I bought that. I don't know
Guitar
what
Hero
I was thinking.
I have a guitar. I have one of the
too.
DS Guitar Heroes because that was at 5 and
Oh yeah, you had to, yeah.
Like you put it sideways and you like spun
yeah,
on the
I remember
screen.
that now.
Like a book.
I forgot about
Like a
it,
book.
but yeah, you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
Oh, the days.
I was just talking about how much I missed the DS, the fact that both screens were equal, because they weren't equal on the 3DS. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't really have the
they
book.
weren't. Mm-hmm.
Or like some games, was it like Contra that had it where both, it was like if you could jump up to the top screen and then back down to the other one.
But Contra had the gap.
Yeah.
So like there was
projectiles
space
come.
And they disappear for a second when they went through the hinge, and then they
I see.
Contra 4.
Made by Way
Then there was like Ninja Gaiden, I think.
It was.
Ninja Gaiden for DS was dope. Dragon Sword. That's a dope game right there.
Could, like,
that's another you hold
screen,
it
right?
You hold it
like a book, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hotel Dusk, hold like a book. I think.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Never mind. Or maybe you did.
Hotel Dusk. Or no, it was the one with the woman, the girl. Or
there are like two that are, and then there's 999, but that's not that. Anyway, whatever. It's in my head. It'll come.
I mean, I'm sure there's a Wikipedia page about the games that you can play like a book. Just like there's a list of
book mode.
Yeah, there's a list of the Tate mode. Is it Tate mode? Is that how you say it for the Switch?
For the Switch, yeah.
You turn it sideways.
Get the flip grip.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
I also have 2 of them for some reason.
You like them?
I mean, it's a piece of plastic, but like for what supports it is great. Like it's a great way to play that stuff. But then
Punch Out on it with it.
Like,
they Punch Out Arcade.
So I think like the SNK collection, they might have updated it to actually support it, but originally the SNK collection only swiveled the other way, so everything would be upside down because like it needs to keep the power and the volume buttons available to you, so it can only slide in one direction.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, it was a weird problem for them to have. But anyway, Chris, what have you been playing, sir?
I'll make this quick. Some of them. The SkateBIRD, hate it. I did.
I was questioning whether or not to try it out, but there's nothing that's like really like jumps out at me. Like the only thing that jumps out at me is the fact that it's a skateboarding game, and I grew up playing skateboarding games. But like nothing really. Oh yeah, still definitely. Still
the best bird to skate with. Yeah, it's just
nice. Birdhouse. Represent. Yeah.
He just skating around in the bird. Like I played the demo they released like at E3 on the Xbox, and I was like,
okay,
hopefully they make this feel a little better because it didn't feel very good. You feel very. I mean, I know it's a bird on a skateboard, but very flimsy. Like the bird falls off very easily. Just turning, it's like real wide turns. You can't. It's just. I just don't like the way
it's unfinished. I thought I played it last week because they just sent it to me. I was like, okay, cool. I loaded up.
Yeah,
and
they
I was
sent
like,
me.
This
sent
is
me
not
too.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we got OlliOlli World soon. I'm looking forward to that. I love the OlliOlli games. Yeah,
120 frames a second, right? On PlayStation 5, they said this week.
Yeah.
Is it only on PlayStation 5?
Probably on the Xbox too, but
I'm pretty sure
part of the PlayStation blog. I think.
Okay,
well, I mean, we might get 30 on the Switch. That'll be good.
30.
But yeah, you'll take it. What else have I played?
You have Deathloop down here.
Yeah, Deathloop. Loop of Death.
Oh yeah,
Deathloop. Yeah, I forgot I played that. I don't think I like it very much. Well, okay, so I sort of like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the story and the style, but I like to play games just like run and kill as many people as possible.
Oh, then Deathloop definitely does not sound like a game.
Because there's an investigative part of the game where you're trying to get people to be co-located.
Together.
Oh yeah. You got to like find them, and so it's basically you just start the run of the day, and you start at different times of the day, and then like kind of memorize those sections of the day, and then eventually you got to get through the whole day in one run, and take out everybody before you every time you die you loop back to the beginning, the old death loop. But I just don't think the controls are made for how I like to play the game, which is just run around.
I heard a lot of people complain about the controls. Yeah.
Like customizable.
And I have to.
Well, it's like the dead zone is real wide.
Okay. Yeah, and I was talking to a friend about it, and he said he couldn't find anything to customize.
That's thematic.
The controls.
Death loop, dead zone.
Boom, nailed it.
Yeah, and then with at least for me, I prefer the Xbox controller for shooters than the PS5 controller. Just the analog placement and the triggers to me are better on Xbox in comparison.
Yes,
they are
100%. Yes,
but I'd say the DualSense is the best they've done. Like DualShock 4.
Oh yeah, the DualSense is the best. DualSense is the best.
Yeah, but
PlayStation controller. Yeah, period. The only thing that I would criticize the DualSense for is the D-pad being gummy. It's hard to play platformers or fighters with that D-pad being the way it is. But other than that, it's the best controller they've ever had by far.
Yeah, the haptics are really nice on it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it kind of works like Astrobot, where every step you take, the controller kind of vibrates. So it's like you can tell if your left foot is touching the ground or your right foot, and then you can also sprint and kind of like juke and jive while you're running. And so it kind of like, based on how the controller vibrates, it tells you which foot is going down, so you can kind of move yourself around with that.
Yeah, it's real nice. It kind of reminds me. I was talking about NBA 2K. The NBA 2K games on the Xbox One, since the very first one, which I believe was 2K14. The Xbox Rumble triggers, they had it so that you could tell what hand the player was bouncing the ball with, either the left hand or right hand, based on what trigger was rumbling. And they it's just been improved now that the PS5 controller has the features in the DualSense. So yeah, it sounds similar to that, but like in a shooter, that's really cool too.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. That part about it, I plan on playing more of it. It's just getting used to playing how they want me to.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah,
not being able to play how I'd like.
It's good to hear something a little more critical. All I've heard is good things. That's all I've heard.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah. I like hearing different opinions. Yeah. So I definitely can see where you're coming from, because from what I read, it definitely wants you to play in a style that's not typical of your typical shooter. So yeah, I could definitely see how somebody that wants to play the game like that would be kind of frustrated based on the way it's set up, from what I've read.
Right. Yeah, I fell off of their other games too. Like they're kind of like immersive sims, and I'll find myself falling off before finishing them.
Okay.
But at the same time, I usually don't finish first-person shooter stories. Like I never beat any Halos, but I played over 100 hours of the multiplayer. I just I just don't really play the single player because they're so like slow. You got to especially like games like Gears of War, where it's like does that slow walk. I know it's like to hide the loading screens, but they do that slow walk when they're telling you stuff.
Yeah, and there's nothing on the screen, and it's just you can tell.
Yeah, sometimes. You're just walking and they're talking
my radio
to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was gonna say I played all the Halo campaigns when each Halo released, but for Master Chief Collection, I never really touched the campaigns. Really, I just been playing multiplayer.
Oh, same here.
Yeah.
I never finished 5 though because I just didn't care. I was like, well,
Oh, I mean, and 5 was a mess for the campaign. 5 was a mess for the campaign. So yeah, you're not missing much. Yeah, you're not missing much at all.
hoping Infinite has like bosses. It'd be nice if Halo games had like better boss characters or just better.
Yeah, Halo 5
beat-ups.
used the same boss battle, and it was just it just used the same boss every multiple times in the campaign, and it was just I just didn't like it. When I was done with it, I was like, wow, it just felt kind of like a waste of time. And that was the first time I felt that way about any Halo game. Even Halo 4, the campaign in Halo 4 wasn't amazing, but at least when I finished it, I felt this was pretty solid. Halo 5 didn't give me that feeling at all. I was just like, wow, I felt like I wasted my time. Yeah.
I don't know if I put any other games, but real quick, Dice Legacy. I've been playing. I played it a little bit, and then I keep picking it up and playing some more of it. Dice Legacy. I don't know. I know it's nothing like it, but it reminds me of Odama, the pinball war
game with
the
the microphone.
Yeah, yeah. It's nothing like it.
GameCube microphone game.
But for some reason, yeah, it reminds me of it. But yeah, so you basically you come up on the shore with like your king and your ruler, and you're trying to take over this land, and you're doing it with dice, and you have to keep rolling the dice, and you get different pieces. Like some will be like a builder piece, a war piece, a worker piece, and you get them and you have to roll them, but each dice only has a certain number of uses before you have to take that dice and feed it food. So it's like this weird town builder / dice game. I like it.
It sounds really unique. Yeah, like the format, I can see how it works in terms of you using strategy. It's just it's so different that I would have to see it in person or see it in front of me to get a good judgment. But yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yeah,
I just don't see where you're getting Odama vibes from. Like I'm watching, I have the Steam page up for it. And I'm like, it looks interesting, and it weirdly looks like it's on a Halo.
It does.
Weird.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's kind of like you're working your way up. Yeah.
Like
I got the Odama vibes from just seeing like people running around dice, I think.
Man,
and so Odama is just like the ball. You're playing pinball with the people running around the ball. I mean, I guess what's the other game with the balls? Is
like
it
Rock
like
of Ages?
Rock of Ages? Yeah, I guess
It's been like 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, there are 3 of them now.
Yeah, I think one's on Stadia maybe, but. And then the last game I'll talk about is Eastward. I've been playing some Eastward. I like it a lot.
Eastward.
It is really good. It looks really good.
What is Eastward? I am not aware.
Eastward on the Nintendo Switch?
I got nothing.
It's a gorgeous looking game. It's kind of plays almost like a Legend of Zelda game, but the town and the vibes that I'm getting from the story so far is pretty much like Earthbound.
I was gonna say the art style definitely looks Earthbound, later Earthbound like.
Yeah, that just came out today on Switch. I don't know if it's on PC maybe too. But yeah, it's really good so far, and apparently the game's like 30 hours. I don't know how much more I'll be playing. Well, I mean, I'll play it. I'll keep playing it, but I just meant tonight. I want to play some more of it, but it's like I know if I sit down to play it, I'll probably end up just staying up way too late. So I need to wait until play the weekend.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that's.
Aaron, what about you, sir?
In terms of analog stuff, I'm playing more Cascadia. I think I talked about it last week. Yeah, I know you're falling asleep. A tile placement game where you're matching basically 5 cards out there, and they have different scoring conditions, and everybody's trying to just configure their own set of tiles to get those conditions with the most points. So I've been playing more of that. A lot of fun. I brought over Kyle's. I went over Kyle's house and played a bunch of stuff, and we played a King of Tokyo. That's a dice. It's a game where you're basically like kaiju, and you are. If somebody's in Tokyo, then they can like earn points. But you win the game either by being like the last monster standing, or if you hit 20 victory points. So when you're in Tokyo, other people can attack you, or the other players can attack you. But every time, as long as you stay, you always earn points at the beginning of your turn just for staying in Tokyo. So you only really you leave by choice. But if you feel like you're going to die, only way you can heal is if you come out of Tokyo. So you have to get out of Tokyo to heal. Oh, James asked, did I play Dark Edition? No, I have like vanilla, regular. Somebody actually, friend of the show, friend of real life, Will, gave me his copy of King of Tokyo. A friend of a friend does have the Dark Edition. I haven't played. I don't have it. I know there's a lot more characters and stuff in it, but I don't know. It's really fun. It's a simple game. You just roll on your turn. You either roll dice to either heal yourself up, attack the other players, earn points, or earn energy to get these gems. These little like green, not gems, like these green energy cubes. You can buy cars. Like that's the currency. You can buy cars that'll let you do different things. You can buy cars to like earn more health, or every time when somebody else does something, you get a perk for, stuff like that. I don't know. It's pretty fun. Played some 100 Torii. Yes, energy cubes. How can I describe that game? It's another tile placement game, but when you go through red colored Torii, you earn. Basically, you're laying out tiles and matching resources. So if you match a resource, you get that resource. If you go through a red Torii, you get an additional unit of that resource. If you go through a blue Torii, you get another resource. So the whole point, and those become points. So the whole thing of the game is as the tiles and the layout, the map, gets bigger and bigger, you want to go through as many different Torii as possible to connect different resources, because then you'll get multiples. Like you might go through 5 Torii. So if you go through 5 blue, then you match the one thing that you connected with the tile you laid, but then you get 5 additional resources. So of course I taught Kyle and I lost, because that's how life works. I teach games and I lose. That's what I'm used to doing. So that means I've taught well. So I did teach some point salad to some friends on Sunday. Lost at that too, because that's how it is.
Happens. Yeah.
It happens.
It's a compliment for your teaching skills.
I keep telling myself that. In the chat, Scott Caputo is a tile laying master. Vincent Detroit and Pennsylvania. Yes, there is an expansion coming. I've seen Scott tweeting about it, so I'm looking forward to it, because I don't know if I think it incorporates a different type of solo mode. This is for 100 Torii, because the solo mode in the base game is just so difficult. It's brutal. So I like it, but I don't play it a lot just because it's so I tweak the rules a bit because it's just incredibly difficult. A lot of board games, the solo mode might be you have to do everything you would normally do in a multiplayer game to earn something, and you take actions for an AI player who can just earn points doing nothing. So you have to really make sure you get to maximize every turn you have, because the other players is always accruing things,
Okay.
So a buddy of mine, he's actually a game designer, and I hung out with him and his significant other, who was a coworker of mine. Anyway, they're both coworkers. So he introduced me to 3 new games he's made since the pandemic. Well, he makes a lot of games. He made a game called 11 Butterflies. Very beautiful game. Card game where you're trying to create sets of different butterflies. So if 2 butterflies marry each other, that means their total numbers, they always add up to 11. So he made it so all the different pairs always add up to 11. So you get to create sets or create, a married pair of butterflies. You can earn these net cards. They're random. They have different points on them. Very fun game. Hopefully he gets a chance to play test it for more people shortly, because I really enjoyed it. He introduced a game to me called Ying Bi. Big sack of like, he always, when he gets his games prototypes made, he goes out and spends like money on like getting these really nice prototypes, like heavy like poker chips and things like that.
Yeah.
So Ying B is like, it's 2-player. You have a sack of like 64 or maybe 65 chips, and on the mat you can put your chips in one of 3 different places. One is, and there's 3 different types. So one place you can lay it in is you have to have the same type twice, and you can rotate. The other one is you can't have the same thing consecutive, so it's always alternating between the 3. And the third is a set. So if you have the first 2 out already, you can't put another one of those out. You have to put on the third, and then you can keep going. I got crushed, but it was fun. I got beat pretty bad. And then he gave me a prototype a while ago for a game called Dados de Cigarro. The theme of this game is you are trying to manufacture really high quality cigars. So the game comes with these really thick dice, and the interesting mechanic is you roll these thick dice, and they dictate like the type of tobacco that goes in the cigar, and the actual, like, you're building the cigar, but they're like chips. So what you roll dictates the type of cigar, the type of tobacco in it, and then the wrapper. And if you get a sponsorship, you can have a cigar that has 2 different types of tobacco in it, not just one. So like you can also roll everybody's dice too. The trick is, before you roll everybody, you can roll yours and everybody else's. You have to call out what you're going for. So if you say, I'm going for different wrapper types, then if you roll everybody's dice and your opponent's dice on your turn give resources that are not what you called, they get those resources. So it's a risk reward, and like you increase your odds.
Yeah, risk reward. Yeah.
But you also give your opponents an opportunity to get resources when it's not their turn. I love games that do that. Like games that, like, I mean, I'm fine playing games that have, you take your turn, you wait to come around. But games like Amachi Koro, like a Space Base, for like every turn you're invested in, because somebody else doing something can trigger something that helps you. I like things like that. So that's pretty cool. I demoed Critical Care. Amari Kia, who's been on the show a couple of times, he designed a game called Rap Gods, and then a game that I did a preview for called Hoop Gods. So he worked with a doctor to make a co-op game where everybody has a patient, and you're trying to work cooperatively to cure all the patients of all their ailments. But it's tough. I mean, we saved everybody, but I think we played like the easy version. But the research was done. I mean, all the like every card has like a description of all the different procedures and terminologies and all these things that, like, if you were a doctor, you would know. If you're a layperson, you're reading the bottom of the card, like, that's what that is. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. That's coming to Kickstarter, I feel like next week. Oh, and James knows about Hoop Gods, so yeah, I had to send that out to somebody. I was like, man, I'll get prototypes in. I'll do my video for it, and I got to send off to somebody else to do, to do some content with it. And it's like a lot of games I don't want to let go, but you have to. It is what it is. So I let that one go. And so Critical Care is really good, coming to Kickstarter shortly. And last thing is, analog thing is Castles of Burgundy, the dice game. I have the card game. I don't know why I bought it. I don't like it, but the dice game is pretty cool. So yeah. In terms of video games I played, in Tiny, I was lamenting about this on Twitter. I started playing 12 minutes, and I like the premise of that game. It's you come into your apartment. It's a small apartment, and there's a scenario that's playing out where, like, basically a cop's gonna come to the door and come in there and handcuff you and your wife, and depending on what you do, you might get beaten or killed. Like, it's just going to happen. And is it 12 minutes or is it a couple of minutes? Is it really this loop that much?
It can take over. It can go over the 12 minutes, yes.
But it can be really short, too.
It can.
So, and I just fell down this rabbit hole of, like, I got stuck, and it frustrated me. And I kept trying. And it's a point-and-click game. So, like, you're trying different things. You're trying to open up different branches of dialogue and figure, and I know what the story is. I just can't get to the end. Like I know the awfulness that's the backdrop. Because I got to the point where I was on YouTube like, okay, do this, and this. And I would do it. I'm like, it's still not working. I can't seem to trigger like the right dialogue options, and it's pissing me off.
Right.
Did it happen to you, Tiny? Like I keep trying, but it's not working.
There were some things that did that, but like you texted me about a problem you were having.
Yes.
And I started texting back, and I'm like, oh, it's just easier if I call. And like it's a lot of systems working on top of each other. So as they intersect, you get interesting points that happen. And like when you get beat up or whatnot, the time loop resets and you find yourself back at your front door. But you have this information. And so once you unlock a line of thought or whatever, a process, it generally saves it so that you can skip redoing some of the more tedious stuff in your further loops. But I mean, yeah.
Like it's a neat idea. It is enjoyable. It just it could have done so far I could have done a better job, like kind of steering you in the right direction, because what I wasn't doing, I was able to do something. I was able to recreate it. I was very frustrated. And Tiny called me and said, oh, you have to do this first. I'm like, that's very, like, why?
Very specific.
Very specific. So it's, I don't know, it's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, go for it. It's an interesting game.
It's interesting. All right. Yeah.
Here's exactly. Like the story. Anyway. Yeah.
Chris, please expound.
No, I was just going to say there was 2 games that I'm looking forward to very much, and this one came out. This 12 Minutes is one of them, and I'm pretty disappointed in it. And the other one, well, I think that's on me because I didn't realize it was point and click.
It is.
It's very much point and click, especially with the Xbox controller. I tried to plug in the Mario Paint mouse, but didn't seem to work.
Imagine that, right?
Where does this go?
I couldn't get it to fit. Yeah, I tried putting it in the expansion pack back for the memory card slot, but it didn't work either. But yeah, so I was playing some 12 minutes, and just some of the stuff where they make you go through. They will cut down on some of the tedious stuff, but then some of the stuff, like I wish there was just like I've heard other people say it too, but I just wish there was like a fast forward button.
There is,
to
but
like
it
speed through stuff
that well.
Right. It doesn't do the fast forward you want. So like, for example, and I don't think this is a big based on everything we said. You have to convince your wife that you are in a time loop. So once you eventually get her, and you do it by identifying some different stuff that happens in the environment. So the next time you come back, you can skip most of that and be like, oh, it's because of this.
Prove it here.
It's like, cool. Like, I don't know. Like, the one that's the most annoying is it's going to rain soon. And it's like, oh, the forecast. And then you have to wait 2 minutes for it to start raining. And you're like, this game.
Yeah, I never encountered that dialogue about the weather at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That never. No. I played for several hours throughout the day. That never happened for me at all. Like that. When you just said that, I was like, I'm playing this wrong. I never.
Yeah, no, you can 100% do the weather, and
that was never a dialogue option. I don't know why.
And
the gift, the.
There's other stuff. Yeah, there's other stuff. So I'm not going to go. Anyway. Yeah.
But you're right. You do drug your wife quite a bit.
you drug your wife
repeatedly.
But the ending where you're like, oh, okay, that's weird.
Oh, it gets weird. Oh yeah, it definitely.
So.
And when he realizes how weird it is, it's like, oh yeah, that's awful.
So anyway, yeah. Again, the best one you could do is probably the one where it's like, just don't touch the controller, and you get 100. So just let the characters go about their day.
One thing I did like is I had to step away, and I came back, and I like how the Xbox One or Series X will have the little pane come up on the right side, and kind of go over achievements you've gotten.
Okay.
I didn't realize it'll tell you ones you haven't gotten.
It'll give you the percentage how close you are.
It'll give you percentage, yeah.
I was like, but the name of it was like, I went and did it. Like, 80 points, great, Because it's something I had never thought to do because it's not integral to anything. But I appreciate that. Like, cool.
Yeah.
So how many endings have you gotten so far? I'll ask that question real quick.
None.
Oh, okay. I thought when you said you were following the guide, I figured that you had done some.
Oh man, I kind of snuck ahead. I can see what some of the worst ones are. Some of them I don't even understand how you'd even get there. I have no idea how you would even arrive at that point. So it's interesting.
Gotcha.
So Brad, you have Game Pass, so.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So now you have to play this game and tell me what you think about it.
Okay, I definitely will. Yeah, I have kind of like a Game Pass backlog right now.
Don't we all?
But yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's what the service is about, right? Instant backlog. As soon as you subscribe, it's a done deal.
Or don't play one. Like, it'll be fine if you don't play.
Yeah, SkateBIRD. Don't play SkateBIRD. Just take SkateBIRD off the list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't bother with SkateBIRD.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you have a much better game that's on Game Pass on your list. So.
Psychonauts 2, yeah.
Psychonauts 2.
I'm nowhere near finished with it, but I am enjoying the crap out of that game. I'm going back and I'm a little frustrated. I'm trying to go back and clean up certain things, but it's like I don't have all the rankings to unlock the badges at the certain levels to get stuff.
Okay.
I'm like, I like that game a lot. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And like games like that, and as I said before, those games take me back to, PS2 era where we had more, or at least saw more and more creativity in terms of what the bigger games were, games of that nature. I do think that with the way COVID is delaying a lot of these AAA titles, on top of the fact that AAA games are taking so long to make, that we could see like a comeback for platformers, and I hope that happens because I really think those are really good titles to happen between the big AAA releases, and now you have services like Game Pass, which will make those games a bit more accessible and then have the companies have a bit more freedom into making those games be successful in comparison to how things were, a decade or more ago, in which the only way you could play a game was to buy it for $60, and then you had that question of will people buy this game for $60, and when it's like cartoony, a lot of people won't take that I guess chance, you could say, for those types of games when you have games right next to it that are more realistic and people feel like they're getting more bang for their buck on those games. So now with Game Pass, people are more willing to take a chance on those type of titles, and I think we can get more of a spotlight on those games. So I do think that as this gen progresses, we could see more variety, as things get better and more people get these consoles. But a game like that, I definitely want to see more of. Definitely.
And then the last thing I finally finished Resident Evil Village on PC. So.
Another good game.
Just waiting for some more content to play. So
yeah,
because I could play the mercenary.
Did you play any of the mercenary mode? Yeah,
I did not. I probably should start some. Well, I'm waiting. I
just played the one, and I was like, I'm good.
I never really got into the mercenary stuff, but I want more story content. So.
But it's part of Resident Evil 4, your favorite game ever. I don't understand.
You got to finish that game. That's it for me.
Gotcha. I'll be relatively quick. I've been playing Chrono Trigger again on my DS, and that game is wonderful, and you should play Chrono Trigger.
I own it for the DS. I started it 5 times. Seemed to fall off every time.
It is a classic RPG that I think is also available now. Like, they've fixed the PC version and whatnot. So
yeah. Also, real quick, breaking news. For us, not for anyone else, Castlevania Advance Collection was just rated for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Oh, nice. So
Advance
Collection? It's going to be Aria of Sorrow?
It's going to be the 3, right?
I'm thinking of the
Circle
Game
of the
Boy
Moon.
Advance ones.
Right. There's only one Game Boy Advance one,
There's
right?
two. I thought
No,
it was
there's-
Aria of Sorrow,
And
Circle of the Moon.
Circle of the Moon.
Okay,
That
I
was
do
a launch
remember.
title.
I remember Circle of the Moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why I remember it.
That's
then.
the
Okay.
game you couldn't see on the original Game Boy game.
I think there was a third one, wasn't there?
No,
There were
because
three on the
there's
DS.
3 on the DS, which is why I'm like, so does that mean it's going to be the Game
What
Boy
was
and
the
the
first
DS?
one on the DS? It was something with a D and an S. I can think of what it is. I know.
The
what
Dawn
I
of
Dawn
Sorrow.
of Sorrow.
Dawn of Sorrow.
Wasn't that it?
Dead-
Because they
Deadly
wanted
Shadows?
the DS.
Portrait of Ruin.
Remember, they wanted DS as the
in Order of Ecclesia.
initials for a lot of DS games.
Right.
They did. Yeah, it was Dawn of Sorrow. So yeah, I beat Dawn of Sorrow, and I got the bad ending in Portrait of Ruin. I never finished Order of Ecclesia though.
Oh, okay. So Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow.
So there were three.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
also there was the Castlevania Classics re-release. So technically 4 on the Game Boy Advance.
I wonder if you like play all those games together, how much they really crib from each other. I mean, we already know the sprites and the enemies. They clearly just pluck them right out of Symphony of the Night and just reuse them forever. Same with many of the boss battles. But I wonder how many of the levels themselves were just like, yeah, just inverted. They won't know. Like, you know,
Oh.
make it sideways. They'll never know. Whatever.
Yeah, I think didn't I forget the creator or whatever. He said they did a lot of that with those games because their budget wasn't very big.
Okay.
Yeah, but they
Ego.
definitely, after the first
Yeah.
one, they learned like they had to do the cell shading outlines so that you could see the characters more clearly.
That helps.
Due to the-
Yeah,
you know,
because the
original Game
GBA
Boy.
without the backlight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
original
why I
Game
didn't
Boy.
get it.
Yeah.
I was in GameStop like I should get this, and I was like,
I bought that the day I bought
Okay.
my Game Boy,
Yeah.
like August
kinda-
of 2001.
I got the SP. Day.
I loved. Okay, the SP was great. Yeah, that to me was the best portable Nintendo design. Just portable, fit in your pocket, and it had like everything that you needed on there, except for a headphone jack. You had to get the cable, but other than that, it
Yeah.
was great. I keep forgetting about that.
forgot
but
about
yeah,
that.
You had to get that cable.
I had that. I don't know where it is anymore, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was great. I remember seeing the commercial for the Game Boy Color, and they made it look like the Game Boy Color had a backlight. I don't know if you remember that, but yeah, at least I thought it had a backlight. Then when I saw it in person, I'm like, oh man, this is kind of messed up. It's been so many years since the Game Gear, and you still don't have a light on the screen, even though it was
Still
in
need
color.
that worm, the worm light.
Yep, the worm light.
Well,
yeah, definitely.
But I mean, they
Like,
also
that-
they have the Game Boy light, but that never came out.
Like, it's funny because the worm light, like to me, like seeing the worm light, that kind of gives me more memories of the Game Boy Color than seeing a Game Boy Color itself. For some reason, it's like I remember because I used to play it at I guess I used to play on the Game Boy Color a lot at night. But yeah, I definitely had one of those. You had to, had to have one.
Yeah.
The other game I've gone back to, and we were talking about some Toys to Life stuff earlier with Skylanders, is I have returned to Starlink Battle for Atlantis.
Oh,
It's so funny. I bought that game, but I barely even played it. And a lot of the reasons, the main reason why I bought it was because of Star Fox. And that
Well,
was
so I was thinking about Star Fox, and I'm like, I don't. So right now, all my Wii U's are lent out to people and whatnot. So I'm like, if I want to play a Star Fox game, I can either play 64 again, which Star Fox 64 is a wonderful game. I just don't need to play it again. Or it's like, oh wait, Star Fox was in Starlink. Also, I bought like 80% of the toys for Starlink and never opened them, and they're all sitting in my basement.
Oh, I see.
So I started playing that again, and I'm working through it, and I'm playing the Switch version because Star Fox. Though I also bought an Xbox One version on clearance or whatever to get the ship, like the default ship that came with the regular game, that you don't get when you get the R-Wing.
of course you did. Yeah.
Of course I did. Hey, no, you want to talk about bad mistakes? So I'm playing this, and I'm like, I'm only missing like 2 characters, and like, I think the Target and the GameStop exclusive. So that started looking at Amazon last night, and there is definitely two other characters on the way. The ships that that I didn't pick up are just repaints of other ships that I already have. So I was like, I don't need that. But then I found out there's an exclusive character that was released only in Europe and Asia, not in North America.
Oh.
And
you gotta get the PAL version, right?
now I was looking. I'm like, where's the?
Oh, you're looking at it. Okay.
Find where's the cheapest I can find this. Like I think this character will work. I assume, but it's like that game is very impressive for a couple different reasons. I think the coolest thing though is if you're on planet side, you just literally fly straight up and you can get into space. It's not a separate loading screen. It's not like there is a transition animation that you see. But like you can go from planet side to into like the Star Wars Battlefront 3 promise or whatever, anywhere you're at, and like you can go from hovering to flying to space travel relatively quickly, and then there's just a lot of stuff to unlock in it. And Chris, I remember you playing it a decent amount, or at least I remember you posting stuff on like Twitter about it. So
I beat it on the Switch.
I was going to say, any ships, like, did you pick up any of the exclusive ships? Do you want to send them to me? That'd be great.
Yeah, I got the digital deluxe version, and then I only used Fox. I almost got the physical version for the Air Wing, but instead just went with the digital version. And yeah, like you said about just going from the ground up to space, even on the Switch, it was like nice and smooth.
And that's the great thing. Like, and I'm playing on the Switch, and like I could play the Xbox version, but then none of the Star Fox crew would be there, and
that kind of defeats the.
There's a story like without them and whatnot, but there are several screenshots I have where like they have their art style of characters, and then there's just randomly Fox McCloud and Slippy and Pepper and Falco, and you're like, they weirdly fit here. So I'm still playing it. I'll probably stream some of it sometime when I'm, I don't know, doing something. It's just, yeah, that last Toys to Life game, that was probably the,
yeah.
Unless I make
it's
a
funny
comeback in 10
years.
years.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that came out after that was, Toys to Life. Yeah, that definitely was one of the last ones.
So,
if not the last one.
Like,
yeah.
Aaron's real judgy or whatnot, but I know the R-Wing is back next to his TV because I've seen pictures where I believe the R-Wing is sitting on the controller thing.
Yeah, it's over there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm like, so...
oh, okay.
so all this judgment...
Yeah. Don't try to be hiding.
I never played the game, though. I have an integrity.
What you're saying is you bought it and never played the game and somehow feel this is a higher position?
Ironically, yes.
Okay,
yes, I do.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. Yes, I do.
So I mean, those are the main things I've been playing. I streamed some Advent Rising, which is the reason. So, and I was talking about this on stream. A lot of people would remember it for the $1 million prize for a contest that never actually kicked off. Because like if you were supposed to find 13 symbols in the game or whatever, and if you were the first one to do it, they would give Majesco was going to give you $1 million. In their intervening years, because they actually canceled that sweepstakes before the game launched, because they realized there was no way for them to actually like not just give it away to a cheater or someone like mining the data. In the intervening years, there has been I don't know if I'd call it a conspiracy. But there are people that claim that it was all just a PR hoax, and there was
to get
never
people to buy the game. Yeah,
there was never a contest, and it was just an incentive.
I was going to say I was going to bring up the fact that that's a good way to make people buy your game.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, in like starting to play it, and like there's. Orson Scott Card is related to it, so it can be problematic because that guy is a jackass. But it's what Mass Effect could be if Mass Effect didn't get nearly the budget that EA gave BioWare. Okay. Because like it was supposed to be a trilogy. It's your humanity's last hope, and you have Jedi-like powers, plus you're doing shooting, and you have this eclectic group of characters you're going to be with, and it's just funny that like 5 years before Mass Effect would come out, this game came out and just massively failed, and EA, someone at BioWare was like, we could do that, like we could do that better. So, but I found like a mint copy in my basement that was like on top of a bookshelf for some reason. I was like, oh, I own this game, huh? Let me put it back in. I don't remember it since it launched all those years ago. So, but yeah, that's about all I've been playing.
Okay. We have a couple things on here for news. I put a link on here about the Marty O'Donnell Halo situation. I never really finished reading the whole article.
That situation's hilarious. I can give you a minute update on that if you want.
Please do.
Marty O'Donnell and Bungie not on the best terms. No. He was working with them on Destiny and whatnot, and stuff went down. Marty O'Donnell started a Bandcamp and a YouTube channel and just started uploading his work from those games on there and charging for it without asking anyone if it was okay. So he got sued, and I think he has to pay out $100,000 in damages and whatnot. So, yeah, like I don't know, Mario. Like this just seems like a real weird situation. Like, yeah, it's an interesting one, but yeah. So yeah, ultimately the judge awarded Bungie, and yeah, it's $100,000 award for him essentially not handing over all of his. When he left the company, he had an exit interview and like signed an agreement that he handed over all of his original work or whatnot. That was done on company time and all that stuff. And that was not the case, at least according to the judge. So,
grand opening, grand closing.
So, and then what on here? I threw on here. Both the Switch and the PS5 got big updates this week. The Switch,
yeah, Switch. I was surprised. Yeah,
the Switch,
Bluetooth.
You can use Bluetooth audio.
Why?
But only
It's
two
been
controllers.
5 years.
I got an adapter for that about 2 years ago.
I mean, again,
Brad,
now
you
it's
should've
like
waited,
pointless.
man. You should have waited.
Yeah,
Well,
should have waited
but is it
700
pointless?
days.
Is it pointless though? Because you can like again, I think this just shows like I know Aaron and other people are asking like, hey, why did it take this long? But like I think the answer it took this long is because Nintendo, and they're still phasing it, the radio in the Switch isn't the strongest, and the audio is going to take up so much bandwidth that like that's why they're limiting only two Joy-Cons is the most you can have connected when you're using Bluetooth audio. So
I see. Yeah.
So like it's a choice, it's a trade-off. And
has anybody else ever heard of like saving Bluetooth bandwidth before? Is that just I mean, that out there?
Bluetooth yes, because so here, and you know why I'll say this. It's the same idea as why you never were going to get more than one tablet controller on the Wii U, because the amount of bandwidth you have to move and keep those images in sync and at a decent frame rate and
back and forth. Yeah, that is a good point.
It's again the communication method. Now again, I think them coming out and saying like, hey, it limits this to the two is like the mea culpa. Like, hey, we know people want this. They keep asking. This is what we can do. It almost feels like the 3D, like the Ambassador games on 3DS. They gave those away for free, that. But like they didn't start charging for mobile games until the new 3DS. Like you couldn't have the eShop because like anyone who had an original 3DS and played those games, like they worked, but like they didn't go to sleep mode when you closed the shell. They didn't have
they're very they definitely felt like ports. Yeah, right, they weren't really. Yeah,
it was bare, but it wasn't something they thought they could charge for. And like they felt like they couldn't get to, whatever their level of.
Yeah, that was an interesting time, and it's funny because I keep forgetting about that time because when we look back at the 3DS, we think of a successful portable system. But I had the 3DS at launch, and it did pretty bad that first year. Yeah.
I mean, Steel Diver, Super Street Fighter 4.
That lost
the
lineup
Ghost
was
Recon
Pilot
game.
Wings, the Ghost Recon game is the best game that was out on that system.
Nintendo.
Yeah, that is true.
Plus cats.
Yes,
cats.
Nintendo. That's the Switch update.
That's so funny. I only played probably like 4 minutes of Street Fighter in 3D on the 3DS, and I was like, okay, that's enough.
It's a rough like
yeah,
the
it was really rough. That was a rough port period. Yeah,
set up the macros on like, oh, touch the screen and Ryu throws a fireball. Like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah,
reminded me of that EO thing they had for the GameCube. What was it?
Oh, you know what? And now that
I know
the Operation or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it, like the main game I played on the 3DS during the launch was the Ridge Racer. That was a good game.
Okay.
I like the Ridge Racer. Yeah, I like the Ridge Racer on the 3DS. That was good. That was pretty much all I had until, you know, a little bit later when the system did a bit better during the following year. Yeah.
Yeah, when you started getting like hey, we finally caught up to game development.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So
The
and then
update for the Switch also games load up faster.
Okay.
Do they?
Now?
Okay, nice.
I didn't realize that.
So
I haven't turned my Switch yet since the update, so I got to check that out. Yeah.
when you load up a game before, in the top left and the bottom right, they would have like the Switch icon come up, and like the Switch logo would appear. And now it doesn't even finish its animation before the game starts.
What if
So
I
it like
wanted
pops
to,
up for a
Chris?
second, and then if the what?
What if I wanted to finish? What now?
Well, then you're gonna have to get
all
the
that
old
hard work
the old
put into
update.
that animation.
Yeah. And then they also made it so when you go to share something, you can now have 280 characters.
They finally updated the Twitter the Twitter piece.
Yeah.
Like that was like the only platform
I did see that
stuff
too.
to 140.
Yeah.
Okay. And then PlayStation got their update, and now you can finally. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff, but I think the big thing is the expanded storage. You can finally go out and get that M.2 drive and pop it in there.
Yeah.
You can also take the
I'm good with 1 terabyte
on and off button
on the PS5
and drag it all the way to the left, so it's useful. So,
I want to update so that I can, simply, shut off the PS5 without having to go through so many button presses.
Yeah, what were they thinking?
The more I use the PS5, the more I miss the UX of the PS4. PS4 was
it was
more logical, at least to me.
There was no reason to change it. So
to me, there wasn't. Yeah.
And then at the same time, I criticized Microsoft for not having anything particularly fresh for the Series X versus what was on the
yeah, true too. Yeah. It's positives and negatives on both sides. Yeah. At least with Xbox, as soon as you turn it on, you know what to do because you've been using the same dashboard for 6+ years.
Although Series X,
PS5 is completely new. It is in comparison
to
the
One X.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, by far. Yeah, no comparison in terms of speed.
And I'm just going through my Twitter real quick, but some other things. Apparently, a Wipeout game got announced, and it's not for console.
I got really mad about that. I saw that a little bit after I started doing work, and work was pretty slow today for me. So I went on just to catch up on news, and I saw that. I got pumped up like, oh my goodness, new Wipeout, gonna be PS5. I didn't care if it was cross-gen. I was just like, okay, it's just gonna be a new Wipeout game. It has to be on PS5, right? And I kept reading, and I was like, oh, mobile cards. Yeah. Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's like a card-based game.
That's
plus
some
of
mobile team.
Some of the
work for Mario Kart on tour.
Yeah. You mean Mario Kart 9? Yeah. So. But some of the
take that back.
Yeah.
Don't you call that 9?
I almost threw up in my mouth. Yeah. So the art, some of the artwork in that trailer apparently is taken straight from Valorant, from the Wipeout. One of the characters, the artwork is taken from Valorant. I guess it was just placeholder, and then they made the trailer, and that is like Matt Casamacia. From he used to work for like IGN 64
and Apple
back in the day. Yeah, and then he went and worked for Apple, and he created this mobile company, and they are the ones making Wipeout Rush.
Okay.
Did they make the that Contra game too for mobile?
I think that might be some. Is that them?
Is that the one that you could like play all the different like characters
versions
of like the different Billy and Jimmy and no, that's Double Dragon, but whatever.
Bimmy and Jimmy.
And Zit
Yeah,
Pimple,
and like, but also like, yes,
Rash.
the Battletoads, and then, but also like the hardcore, the hard corpse, the Contra hardcore character, like the wolf and the robot, and
the
two humans that no one remembers. I guess the only other things I'll mention, we didn't talk about this, but it's like the 20-year anniversary of the GameCube, which also means the 20-year anniversary of the Xbox coming up. So
it makes me.
I remember getting a GameCube
older
in college. So,
you said you had a GameCube in college?
Came out my freshman year. So
okay, I see.
I was.
I only had one friend with a GameCube, and we felt it was kind of weird because pretty much everyone had PS2 and Xbox. I mean, even when you look at the sales breakdown for all the three consoles, kind of besides was that, even the Xbox was the new console brand at the time, but even that beat the GameCube in sales in the US. So yeah, you're kind of like the unique kid if you had the GameCube during the time. But it was a solid console, had a lot of solid games. I think the biggest thing that kind of messed it up was the branding, as well as the fact that it didn't have like a really like amazing Mario title
at launch.
No, it did.
Luigi's
are we just talking on Sunshine? I wasn't sure if this was
Sunshine was not the hit that it should have been.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion is a great game. It's just not a great Mario.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So
that's spot on.
Like there's some good stuff. I mean, there are some technical limitations. Them going with not DVD meant like some games had to get cut down or just weren't able to be on the platform.
Yeah. I remember when my friend brought the GameCube over to my I should say my parents' house for the first time, and I was like, the discs, why are they so small? I was like, what in the world?
Many games, so many games had 2 discs.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 4 had 2 discs.
Resident Evil 4, or so did the remake, if I remember.
Enter the Matrix had 2 discs.
So, but then like you also had like Beyond Good and Evil had less of a soundtrack because that's how they save space.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And then they cut down some of the other stuff, and like there were a lot of different things that happened, and like I don't know, GameCube was I enjoyed it. I also got my GameCube for free, so it was very.
I paid for mine, but okay.
So
I think more should be said on how the GameCube, like, I mean, obviously, Smash Brothers Melee.
I was going to say, it was the Smash machine for a lot of people.
Yeah, and the fact that system was $99, that kind of really helped the Smash Brothers series, because people wanted to play with their friends, and it was easy to do when the system was only $99. Crazy to think about now.
I mean, then there's also the people that are like, Mario Kart Double Dash was the best version of Mario Kart. I mean, those people are wrong, but
it was a good Mario Kart. I didn't
fantastic.
think it was the best one, but it was a good Mario Kart, definitely.
I ignored it.
Better than Mario Kart Wii.
When it first came out.
I didn't like Mario Kart Wii.
I played the crap out of Mario Kart Wii. I played so much of that.
I
didn't like Mario Kart. I played a lot of it, but I didn't like Mario Kart Wii at all. I
did so many wheelies.
The catch up AI was just too blatant. Yeah.
I still own the 2
stupid
Mario wheels.
Okay, yeah.
Down in my basement, still in the boxes I bought. Oh, that was such a dumb. Just plastic.
They got them on the Wii too? Didn't they bring them out?
Well, that's what for the Mario Kart Wii is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like,
no, but I mean for the Switch.
Yeah, they tried it again.
Yeah, they have. They have.
Oh yeah, they got. Yeah, they're
Joy-Con versions of that. So
yeah.
And they have the little gold steering wheel that goes next to your name. If you play with motion controls on for 70% of your races online.
Okay. Huh. I remember. That was on the Wii U. Okay, so it probably will be on Deluxe too. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Because
I just haven't seen it much since the Wii U version.
The Wii had stars. What was it? Stars that went next to your name? Like you had to beat every
I don't remember,
game.
but I do remember it definitely like kind of differentiated you if you were using the steering wheel, but I forgot how. Yeah, it was either stars or the wheel being a different color. Yeah, one of the two. But yeah. But Mario Kart Wii was just it was just a mess. Like the AI was a mess. The item balancing was a mess. I didn't like Mario Kart Wii at all.
And we also got Spice Orange during the GameCube era.
Oh, the Spice Orange GameCube.
Yeah, that was a sweet color. Yeah, definitely.
The Wave Bird. We got the Wave Bird.
Yeah, mine's over
there. Yeah, that gotta admit, that was ahead of its time. Yeah, helped made wireless controllers standard. And because before that, you had third party.
Yeah. And Nintendo just filed a patent for a new Switch controller.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, they're saying it's 64 controller.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
And according to it, it charges via USB-C.
They might get
me. Connects.
I love some N64, so.
Well,
it's so funny. Like
N64 is coming to the Switch Online or whatever. Like, why would you need an N64 controller other than that?
That's what they're saying. At least that's what's being rumored. We'll see what happens.
Yes.
And that's another thing. Kind of similar to what I said about me feeling more nostalgic when I see the Worm Light instead of the Game Boy Color. Like I hated the N64 controller, but yet when I see it, it just brings me back to that time in gaming. Even though I hated that controller so much.
Why?
It brings back. I hated the controller, but when I see it, it brings back good memories. It's funny.
Why did you hate it though? It worked.
The weird shape, the analog being rough. I didn't like the rings on the analog stick. It was it left the imprint on my finger. No,
you played Mario Party, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, my friend used to rent that all the time at Blockbuster. Yep. Definitely. Yep.
I know the first time I played the N64 and played Super Mario 64, I was like, I was just walking around Peach's castle, like just slowly moving the analogs and just watching them creep along, and I was like,
this is the future.
It was amazing. I played it for the first time at Toys R Us, and Toys R Us kiosk demo, and it was just amazing. Like there was nothing like that at the time. It blew my mind. I never had 64 though. My cousin did, so I used to play it at his house a lot, and I was the one with the PS1, so it was vice versa for him when he wanted to play some PS1 titles.
One last piece of news is not to take over your news section, but Deltarune Chapter 2 comes out tomorrow, September 17th on PC and Mac. Oh, we talked about that earlier.
I think that might have been the pre-show.
Was that before we were recording?
Okay. Aaron might still throw it in, but that was when we were talking about you don't have a camera.
Yeah, I don't have a camera. Yeah. So Deltarune Chapter 2, apparently PC and Mac tomorrow, September 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern.
At 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
So for those maybe not as familiar, what is Deltarune? Why is this important?
Deltarune is Undertale came out, and then Deltarune is the sequel, or it takes place in the same universe.
Okay.
As
the same developer, right?
Toby Fox, yeah. So Chapter 1 is on PS4, PC, and Switch, and then Chapter 2 is coming out now. Originally, after he released Chapter 1, he put out a blog about it and said, when you see Deltarune again, that'll be it. And then he released, I think he was streaming Undertale, and he was like, so we are going to end up doing more chapters after all, because this game's a lot bigger than we intended or something. And so Chapter 2 comes out tomorrow, and who knows when it'll come to consoles and when the next chapter will come out. But I don't know how long it's going to be or anything. He just announced it like 2 days ago, and here we are.
Oh, well, cool. Hey, some people can still keep secrets.
Not
Yeah.
many.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I think it's time to get out of here.
Yep,
Wrap it up.
so Chris, any shout outs, plugs, all that good stuff?
Super Nintendad. You can find me pretty much everywhere under the name Super Nintendad. Yeah, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter.
I was gonna say, don't you like stream occasionally with N64 Josh? Is that it?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I have been streaming more on my Twitch the last few weeks, but I've been just streaming random things like this week coming up, I'll probably be streaming Kenna, the blah 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 Bridge of Spirits, I think it's called.
Okay.
That new PlayStation 5 game.
That looks really good.
Yeah. Looks really good. Hopefully it is really good. And then just fingers crossed for a Nintendo Direct before the end of September.
If not by the end of tonight,
If not maybe by the end of tonight. Yeah.
Get some more details on the new Metroid.
The Game Boy and Game
Metroid's
Boy
gonna be
Color.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
I got my
Oh yeah,
Switch.
those titles. Yeah. We'll see if those titles make their move on the online service. Yeah.
Well, it was.
Oh yeah.
It was Game Boy stuff 3 weeks ago, and I was
Right,
like,
that's what I was
who
gonna say.
knows?
Yeah. Now they're talking about 64. Yeah, I know.
But
Well,
then
it'll be
the
Mephisto
rumor,
by next week.
the one rumor that came out right before this whatever it is, the what is it, like a patent filing?
Mm-hmm.
Right before that happened, there was a rumor that N64 is coming, but it's going to be a premium tier of Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh.
So if you want to play Mario 64 online, you're going to have to pay more money.
Okay.
But I just paid them for it.
But
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, what is it? 2 years or 3 years since they had that?
Oh, Aaron, you're saying that your charge came out for online, Nintendo Online? Because my charge was today too, and it's funny because I keep forgetting about paying for Nintendo Online. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
I don't know.
I think
when
it's like $20 for a year, right?
Yeah,
I should check.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's it's really nothing, but it's just like I forget about it, and it's like, oh yeah, it is right. Yeah, I do pay for Nintendo Online.
Yeah, I forgot too that was a thing.
If it is more, I don't know how much more they're going to charge for N64. I mean, there's only so many N64 games people are.
Yeah, that are classics. That still hold up. Yeah. I played.
See that?
That too. Yeah,
It's more the rights, like it's
the rights than rather. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Because
I
I played
2, StarCraft 64. Like,
because to be honest,
Pro
like I
Wrestling
personally,
2, I would lose it.
Okay, yeah. The wrestling games on 64 were great. Yeah, those were classics. But yeah, like I have the rare replay on Xbox. I have F-Zero X, 1080, as well as some.
The Switch.
Oh yeah, 1080. Get
that
kids
needs
on there.
That needs to happen. Yeah, rare replay on the Switch needs to happen. It'll be perfect for it. But yeah, I got between Rare Replay and the 64 games, and the Nintendo 64 games that I have on my Wii U, and Mario 64 on the Switch. I'm pretty much set in terms of Nintendo 64 games I want to play. I played GoldenEye. It was probably the last time I played GoldenEye was like 7 years ago, and it's aged terribly. Like it's not fun. Like it brings up memories, but it's not.
I was gonna say
it's not fun to play.
Did you play the 360 one that never came out?
I know. I didn't play 361. Yeah.
I mean, you can't get it legitimately, but you can get it emulated.
I did see. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
But I mean, hey, we'll see. Like again,
all these rumors have been swirling around. We'll see what actually happens.
Yes,
Mephisto.
We will.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger issue is like what rights they have to games, because like a lot of the N64 go-tos are owned by all of the wrestling
companies
stuff
that faded away.
About. You're not getting any of the Star Wars games. You're not going to get GoldenEye. You're probably not going to get any of the rare stuff, except for maybe Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong 64.
Or
So-
Diddy Kong Racing.
I'm in no
maybe?
rush to play Donkey Kong 64.
Ooh,
So.
Diddy Kong would be nice. I played that recently though.
Yeah, that game, I gotta say, I was so I was pretty pumped for Donkey Kong 64 because I love the Donkey Kong Country series. That's what made me get my Super Nintendo during that time, right when the Super Nintendo was getting older. That's what made me get the Super Nintendo was that series. So
Hey,
I wanted Donkey Kong.
year on that platform, like
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
The
at
magic.
least 2 years. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
And,
the
I
magic
thought,
that is that.
If
yeah,
if
I thought
If the
I thought
number of
Donkey Kong
games-
64 was going to be I thought Donkey Kong 64 would be kind of more like Donkey Kong Country, but just with 64 graphics, and it wasn't. It was completely
See, what's-
different.
I'm gonna be honest. Aaron is shaking his head about Donkey Kong 64 right now, and it just seems like the collectathon game you would love. I am.
It was too much.
Yeah,
Very
it was a
much.
collectathon. It
Like-
was a collectathon, definitely.
That is Aaron's one of Aaron's bread and butter genres, and like it was too much. I don't
If it's too much for him, then what more does it?
like
What
what?
more needs to be said?
Exactly.
yeah, he's
Too
got
much for a
Crackdown
collective-
now. He doesn't
collective
need to
Kong fan.
collect.
Oh, Crackdown.
Bananas.
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, Crackdown! Yeah, I love the first Crackdown. Yeah,
Didn't we all? And then
yeah. It's funny.
I love-
The game that we all bought for the Halo 3 beta.
I was gonna say I love the free game that
Ended
came
up-
with the Halo 3.
Yeah. Ended up playing
Yeah.
that. I was like, oh, this game's pretty good too.
Some of those orbs meant something. You just hear. I have to find the orb. And you find it.
Yeah,
It was a fun game.
It
Yeah.
was.
right. Plus the NES, the NES, the SNES games that Nintendo has been releasing this past year. If that's any indication of what games we're going to get for the Nintendo 64 and the Game Boy, we're going to end up getting like Quest 64
Shadow Game.
and yeah, we would be lucky to get Shadow Gate. We'll end up, yeah. We'll get
Blues
Quest
Brothers
64.
2000 because they got
Yeah.
the right.
Superman 60.
Superman 64 is a better game than people give credit for.
Carmageddon 64.
I have shown you worse games on the N64 than Superman 64.
Oh, Carmageddon is one of them. That was one of the
Carmageddon
worst
is
that I
definitely
played.
one of them. A game that runs
Yeah.
at like 12 frames a second in the single player.
Superman 64 was a game that was meant to be a 64 DD game, and then they had to scale it back and
But not-
release it so
not
that
only
they
that,
would still
Warner
have the
Brothers
license.
came in at the last minute and said like, "Oh, Superman doesn't kill people, so make everyone like shadow people."
robots. Yeah.
And there was a game that they were making that probably would have definitely been better than what got released.
Yes.
And granted, it's Titus, so like I'm not giving them a whole lot of credit. But like on the other hand, just go watch what Blues Brothers 2000, the N64 game, looks like. Be like, oh no, like Superman was legitimately a better game than this
That
piece of
Lamborghini
garbage.
game they were making looked. I remember it looking good at the time. I don't know. I don't remember actually playing much of it.
I mean, hey, if you want to play the best racing game on, well, not the best, but one of the best on N64, they just have to go get the Volkswagen license and bring Beetle
Yeah,
Adventure.
Beetle.
That was
Yeah,
a
I was gonna mention that.
fantastic
game.
That was a good game.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I love that game.
I feel like Nintendo is in no hurry to do that. Instead, they'll just bring out Mario
Well,
Kart 64.
I mean,
That's
again,
gonna be Mario
Mario.
Kart 64.
They'd have
Yeah.
to. They'd have to also go get it licensed from EA to then who would have to go get the Volks. Like that's the bigger
way
problem
too
with-
much.
with like an
Way too
N64
much.
Classic or whatever. Is again, it's all licensing. Like
Yeah.
90% of the game, if it's not an N64 Nintendo game, 90% of it's
First
going to be
party,
licensing.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us
So-
Mischief Makers, you cowards.
Shake, shake, shake. You cowards.
Sorry, Brad. Shout outs for you, sir.
You can catch me on Twitter. That's mainly where I'm at. bgamer90, and there you'll see my posts and random thoughts. It can go, really different directions. I'm a gamer, so that encompasses video games, sports, and game shows. So yeah, there's just anything with a format and creative presentation is something that I will comment on in many ways. So yeah, just a warning if you wonder why I go straight from like a Series X game to talking about the changes on Wheel of Fortune that only people that watch the show every day would notice.
Only 4x3
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
viewers
Set
are going to be
changes.
impacted by.
Vanna's not
Yeah.
turning anything. She just presses the button.
Yeah, she just
Where did Vanna
Or-
come from? She came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So yeah, really specific stuff that plays into my interests, and I just shoot it out. Yeah, and yeah, as I said before, working on videos, getting back into doing that. I have the open sequence that I want to do pretty much set. I just have to do some finishing touches. So once I get that ready, I'll then make videos around that and put them together and send them out. So yeah, all looking good so far. Yeah, as we get, I guess you could say, kind of more into a normal sense of life, if you want to say that. Yeah, well, it depends on where you're at. Depends on what location you're at, because some places aren't doing well right now. Yeah,
Many are not.
yeah.
All right. If Mike was here, he would say, donate blood and have your dogs and cats spayed or neutered. So, as far as me, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Brad, for joining us once again. We appreciate you both being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, always fun.
Thank you for the listeners, folks who jump in and watch us do it live. We appreciate you. Thank you, Tiny, for making fun of me yet again.
Hey, someday you're going to win a board game. I promise.
I win every now and then. I have my moments here and there.
If it's solo, it's not really like winning. Like,
hey,
because also didn't you lose? Like I
often do. If you want to reach us, you can always email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do so at 202-573-7686. And, we're on Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff. All the links will be in the description, along with all the links for Chris and Brad will also be in the show notes, so you can check them out. Tiny.
Hey, it's I almost said it's November. It's September. Have you signed up for your Extra Life page to raise money for your local Children's Miracle Network hospital? You can sign up, pick from over 170 different children's hospitals, raise money by getting your friends and family to sponsor you, and then you have a great excuse to play games. And if you can't take part, you can check out the link that's scrolling above, GameEnthus.com/extra-life, and donate to your favorite Game Enthus personality. Aaron is going to start telling anyone about this year sometime soon, as he's told me repeatedly.
It's been a year, man.
I just think that everyone's been busy. Like I'm not like
you're right. Everybody had
There's no shame in any of it. So, but yes, you can go to GameEnthus.com/extra-life, donate there, and 100% will go to the Children's Hospital for whichever personality you donate to. So, like John Hopkins is what Aaron and Mike raised for, and I raised for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and we have Benioff's Children's Hospital in California. Anyway, you can check it all out. Go to the link, check it out. Raise money for your local Children's Miracle Network hospital. And aside from that, I think we mentioned it at the opening. I will be at Too Many Games, and Aaron might be at Too Many Games in 2 weeks. So up in the greater Philadelphia area. So I mean, come and check it out. Especially if you're vaccinated, come and check it out. There will still be wearing masks the whole time. So come hang out socially responsibly. So
it's the thing.
Yeah. And with that, I think we're out of here.
Yep. It's gonna do it. We should be back, Lord willing, next week. If not, then blame Tiny.
Yes.
Yes.
Please do.
Yes. All right. Peace.
Okay.